What's up, guys? On this week's show,
bitch, please, you went to space.
Gotta fix it fast.
And the Jaws for a new generation?
All that and more on this episode
of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
Cue the music.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OGLFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, Mike C. Squared, and with me are my co-hosts, Benwah.
To all the teachers out there in the world, a belated Happy Appreciation Day. You guys deserve so much more.
And DJ MacLeod.
Hey!
Before we get started, I want to let you know, if you enjoy the show, tell some friends about it. Share us on your social media. Whatever you choose to do, you're helping us let others know about the best damn podcast they've probably never heard of. Now, if you want to talk to us, the show is on Twitter at Giant Leap, #4 Geeks. You can get a hold of our resident DJ MacLeod at Froggy Beaver, and Benwah is at Benwah Gaming. That's BENWAH Gaming. In a world where every podcast I ask the same question at the beginning, I'm gonna do it again. What you been doing?
Packing my shit.
Cause I'm leaving
Yep.
on a jet plane, but not a plane.
Leaving in the car.
Yeah, on a automobile that has four wheels on a road.
Just stop. Stop. I am going on vacation this weekend. Mm-hmm. We leave Sunday. So I've been cleaning the house and getting things ready and packing my things.
What's going to happen to Daisy?
She's coming with us.
Oh, okay. All right. And for those who don't know,
Daisy's my dog.
DJ MacLeod's dog.
Those of you who follow me on Instagram, you have seen her.
And Daisy is
a lab staff, which is a American Staffordshire Terrier and lab mix. Mm-hmm. She's about 30 pounds, solid white, loves to love on people, and loves to ride in the car. So she'll be fine. As long as we put her ass in the car, she'll be good.
She loves the lovin'.
She does. She loves the lovin', and she loves to ride in the car. So that'll be exciting. We got all our ducks in a row for that. And we're going cross-country to Louisiana. So a very long drive. Actually, really not. It's only 19 hours.
Only a day.
Hey, compared to the damn Washington trip that I had to take, 19 hours ain't nothing. Okay?
God, Jesus, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't. Even,
really?
Taking turns, if I had to drive anything longer than 2 hours straight, I would fall asleep at the fucking wheel. I can't. The road, the lines will hypnotize my ass straight to sleep. I can't do it.
Well, see, I have a plethora of options to listen to on my way.
Even still, I would rolled windows down, turn music up loud as hell. I can't do it.
I'll probably drive about 9. Well, it depends on if my sister-in-law is going to help us. Because if my sister-in-law is going to help us, I got it figured out. We can each drive 6 hours and a quarter. Mm-hmm. And then if she doesn't help us, then T-Money and I each have to drive 9.5 hours.
Maybe if I was talking to somebody the whole time, because just sitting still for long periods of time, I would just fall asleep.
Well, see, I put in our show, and I feel like people are talking to me.
No, that puts me to sleep.
Oh, well, fuck.
No, it's just because I'll listen to us while I'm obviously recording it, and then I'll listen to us again when I'm
by that
it.
point, you've probably listened to it quite a few times.
By the time it goes live, I've probably heard it so many times.
I only listened to us once.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not involved in all that extra processing.
Gotcha.
I don't even listen to us while we're recording.
Right. He's I just zone out.
What about you, Ben? What you been doing?
Well, first off, I want to make a clarification. I was wrong about something last week. I mentioned that the game Soccer Boy was a PAL region exclusive. Turns out it was actually released in the U.S., but they renamed it, which is why I got confused.
Yeah.
It was called The Adventures of Kid Cleats, if that means anything to anybody.
I so much like that title better. Kid Cleats.
Kid Cleats, yeah.
I like it.
Other than that, I finally got to do my yard. I pulled out the electric mower and weed whacker, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think I might actually like doing yard work for once.
Nice.
Although it fooled me because, okay, Obviously, the battery.
Lawn.
Oh, I do too. Obviously, you got to charge the battery. It has its own portable charger, and so I put the battery on it. And at first, it must have given me like a false positive because there's 4 lights that light up green. One says 25, 50, 75%, so on. And once it's done charging, all 4 lights are just a solid green color. It flashes when it's charging. And when I put it on there, it was on there for like 5 minutes, and then it was fully green. So I just assumed, hey, it really hasn't been ran at all. Maybe there still was enough of a charge, so I didn't have to charge it for that long. So I put it in the mower. I did about 3 laps around my front yard, and then it just died. And for like 30 seconds, I was like, oh shit. So I'm like, I just got this thing. Don't be broken. But sure enough, it just really needed a full charge. So I charged that, and I was weed whacking in the interim, and it was a good time. I'm very happy with the way my yard looks right now. And also,
gotta make sure you weed whack them yards.
Oh, absolutely. Got to weed whack the yards. Got to weed whack my pelvic area.
Right.
Trim the bushes down.
Landscape and manscape. There you go.
Yep.
It's like a Wheel of Fortune before and after puzzle. There's a lot of stuff I want to do in my yard this year. Pull some stuff out, take care of trees, but I'm not going to get into all that right now. I binge watched fucking Netflix and the internet, man. I am like the target any streaming service goes after when it comes to binge watching.
See,
programs.
You're the motherfucker they sucker into. Be like, oh, we got seasons. Let's watch them. Push them Ben's way.
I am the masochist who will binge watch one entire season and then like torture myself having to wait 1 full year. At least when stuff was on TV, you go from like March or April till September, like maybe 5 to 6 months. Not me. I go like a full year. I watched all of Dead to Me. And I think it was a really well written and acted show, despite the fact that like some jokes didn't really land. I still think it was really good, and I recommend it to anybody who has Netflix to watch it.
I celebrated my birthday on Cinco de
did.
Mayo. For those that don't know, I turned 33 this year. I'm aging myself to everybody, but I'm Jesus age now. So, if I die for your sins, I guess it's for, the greater good, I suppose. That's how it goes. Middle management, catches the bullshit. So it's kind of what Jesus was. He's like, I'm not the all father per se. I'm just kind of like the step down from that. So I got to take all the bullshit. Yeah. So sorry, I probably offended somebody. That being said, though, it was a pretty uneventful birthday for me. I had to work the whole time, and so yeah, I did go out to dinner, went out, had a few drinks, and the bartenders where we go to, they know me pretty well, and I'm gonna sound like an alcoholic now, but I know them from outside of the bar prior to going to that bar. But anyway. They bought me a few drinks for my birthday and stuff, so it was all good. I had a good time.
Sounds awesome.
Yes.
Where was my invite?
I don't know. I just went from work to food and bar. Where's my birthday present, motherfucker? If I'm gonna say anything, yeah. So put that in your drink.
It's at my house.
In your pipe and smoke it.
It's at my house.
Okay. All right.
Her presence is gift enough.
Oh, there you go.
I mean,
smooth. Though my other interesting thing. Even more interesting than the fact that my birthday was just here. I don't know if someone's trolling me or not, or if this is just like a spammy thing on its own, but I find it funny.
Okay.
So not to my personal email address, but to the show's, the official oglfg@gmail.com website, or email address, not website. I've been getting emails from a site called LatinAmericanCupid.com.
Okay.
and no bullshit. I got a email. I'm going to give you the sequence of events of how this all went down. On May 3rd, I got my first email, and it says LatinAmericanCupid.com. Farouk is interested in you. I was just like, that's weird, and just kind of ignored it. Then.
What, Nation of Domination?
Right. Then on May 4th, I got one from Evandro Swaza is interested in me.
You know what happened is somebody got a hold of our email for the show.
Oh, wait.
They've created a profile with our email.
So I'm going through it and I'm like, this is weird. And I'm like, Carlos is interested in you. David is interested in you. And I just keep getting, all this shit. And it's like, meet more singles by logging in regularly, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, what is this? So I finally went to the site and there is a profile under our email address.
Yeah.
Let me go back.
That's what they do. They get emails and they make up these fake accounts. And so then when the profile starts sending you emails to your email and you're like, what the fuck is this? And you click on it, then it's eventually going to link back to spam.
Probably.
And so now you're going to get a whole bunch of like,
oh yeah, no, I'm
dating MILFs around the corner and all that bullshit.
And
that's weird though, because normally, I don't know necessarily for like dating websites, but I would think any kind of website where you're supposedly going to be putting out some kind of personal information like that, they would normally ask for confirmation of an email address before you could do anything.
So on here, they put that they are, the profile name is Oriented Daisy. Okay. They live in, or at least I live apparently, in Bolivia. I am a woman who was born in May of 1985. So a year before my birthday. A year before my birth year. And they don't have anything else, no body weight measurements, this, that, and the other. But apparently, I have been, let's go to activity. I have 13 people interested in me, 45 people who view my profile, and 6 people have favorited my profile. There is no picture. There is no other information besides the fact that I am a 34-year-old woman who lives in Bolivia.
Somebody is using us to catfish people.
Which I'm totally fine with that.
Catfish? Is it technically catfish though if you don't have an image? Because you're not faking.
Well, yeah, because I'm not a 34-year-old woman from Bolivia.
He's not a female, and he doesn't live in Bolivia.
Yeah.
So those are catfish.
Okay, I guess, yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to make the point that if there's no photo,
Nope.
But I guess if you are at least saying you're a female, then yeah.
If you're misrepresenting yourself in any way, shape, or form on the internet.
Have you been catfished? I feel like you know about
this.
Yes,
I have.
Okay.
I have been catfished multiple times.
Because I was going to say, because I was like, you broke it down. But so,
and
yeah.
also
so
I watched the Catfish show. But
so to anybody that's looking for love, and you are a Latin American male, and you are looking for some loving, you can find my Oriented Daisy profile on LatinAmericanCupid.com. And yeah, so.
But you are not looking for loving, nor are you a female, and nor do you live in Bolivia.
No.
Just want to put that out there.
No. All of those things are not true. Yes. Or are true.
Sidebar too. Mel, you may already be aware of this, but not too long ago there was an episode of Catfish that took place in Saginaw.
Yep, I know.
Nice.
When they were just down on a
Yep, I know.
Damn.
I was like, hey, I know where that's at.
It's like, hey, I know that catfishing motherfucker. Yeah. Got me too, damn.
No, I haven't been catfished in Michigan, so.
But for those who were wondering, if you're looking for some, somebody to talk to, you can, send some dick pics, I guess, if you'd like, whatever.
Whoa,
I don't know how LatinAmericanCupid.com works, so I don't know if they'll let you do that, but,
I would assume it'd be a lot like OkCupid or Match or Meet Me, Plenty Fish.
All right, Tinder, what's the Grindr?
Grindr, yeah.
All that good stuff. So yes,
Bumblebee.
How many dating websites do you? I've not heard of half of these.
Bumble is the new one.
Oh yeah, I didn't know about that one. Look me up on TikTok.
I only know about.
I have a profile where I'm a 13-year-old girl there as well. No,
that one's gonna get you in trouble.
No, what? I didn't make none of this shit. I just want to let that be known. This is just a joke. I mean, the profile does exist. Somebody made it with our email address, but I don't know who it is. I'm just going to watch it and just see what happens and just see how much they update it. I might even start jumping on there and talking to people. So, hey, you never know.
All right. Well, if the FBI comes knocking on your door while I'm on vacation the next week and a half.
Well, this profile is 34. I don't know about the TikTok one. There is no TikTok profile. Let me clarify that.
Make sure you hit me up and be like, hey, Mike's been arrested or FBI got him or something.
They're cavity searching him in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Let's let's actually put this up to our listeners. How many of you out there, please feel free to tweet us at the official OFGLF.
Wow, you just fucked that up.
Hey, Mickey, you're so fine. If you want us to really do this,
Wait,
we will record.
What are you signing us up for before you say this?
No. Mike said he might be interested in just following it for a while to see what happens.
Okay.
If you want us to do this and record the findings and put it up on YouTube, let us know on the official Twitter page.
Ooh, this could be interesting.
Y'all gonna have to keep me updated.
I like where this is going. Okay, but to be continued.
like big butts?
And I cannot lie.
I can't lie about that.
These other brothers can't.
I am not a crook.
All right, moving on.
I feel as if this whole thing is a way for Master to lead a double life, and he's trying to play it off like someone stole his email and is catfishing you. Sure, Master, whatever you say. We believe you.
I was wrong. I was wrong about everything that I thought. I had theorized about the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. Now, to give you a recap, when we last talked about this, it was before the Avengers Endgame, like the few trailers that they had sprinkled out by that point. Definitely way before the movie had came out. And spoilers for Avengers Endgame. I mean, it's been out. We'll be going on weekend number 3 by the end of this week.
There are still people that have not seen it.
So, I mean, if you don't want to know anything about it, you probably shouldn't have watched this trailer because they give you a spoiler warning right at the beginning, and you should definitely skip this segment. So, jump to the next timestamp segment and just skip this altogether if you don't want anything spoiled for you. Okay, you had your chance to go. All right, so I was wrong. I theorized that this movie took place before Infinity War.
And it does not.
And this clearly happens after Endgame. Because my theory was, when we first see Peter at the beginning of Infinity War, he's jumping off a school bus that's like going across the Brooklyn Bridge or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe this is them coming back from their field trip to Italy, and that's when Infinity War happens, and that's why, like Sam Jackson is there, and, he's not dead, and yada, yada, yada. No. This is after Endgame, and these people have all come back. They established right at the beginning that Tony Stark is dead, that the 5 years from Infinity War to the end of Endgame has passed. These people have come back, and I was correct in my assertion when we did the Endgame review that apparently the entire cast of Spider-Man Homecoming got dusted because all these kids are still in high school 5 years later. Like, they all...
Okay.
Ned, Flash, MJ, all of them. They all got dusted. And I'm like, I feel that's kind of contrived, but I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Whatever. I'm going to let it go. That being said, I like that I was wrong about it, but now I have other theories that I don't know if I was right or wrong about, and I feel like I'm being lied to in the trailer. So, but before we get into it, I heard people talking about this, and I want to get your guys' opinion. Do we feel that Spider-Man is being a dick to the New York Police Department?
A little bit. It kind of gave me like a Spider-Man 3 vibe.
It felt more like the Amazing Spider-Man to me.
Okay, yeah, him too.
Because people didn't like that he was kind of an asshole, and I was like, he just makes jokes. I don't think he's being a dick purposefully, but...
I always forget about the Amazing Spider-Man, and so unfortunately, my first thought was, so he's like the asshole Peter Parker from number 3. So like, you feel like it was in poor taste? Oh, fine line. I mean, making jokes, sure, and I get that they're trying to bring that kind of jokey feel back to it.
Sure.
I don't know. I didn't necessarily think it was in poor taste, but he is acting an asshole.
Sure. Well, what about you, Benwah?
Yeah,
did you think that
you can be an asshole and not be in poor
the police
taste?
deserve more respect? The beat cops of the streets of New York deserve more respect from their friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He made a crack in front of 3 of them, like, I wouldn't have to do so much if you did your jobs. And one of the cops was like, ooh.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, at least one of them took it in good humor. I don't think he was trying to be a dick.
I don't either. It reminded me of that meme where the guy, he like leans back and like all the people are like, oh, and then the dude comes across the screen with his hands on his face. Do you know what I'm talking about? Everybody's seen that meme at some point when somebody talks shit to somebody and it's like a mic drop moment. They always put that meme up of the guy. He's like wearing a hood and he like leans back and like all the people around him are like, oh, and then the guy like holds his hands over his face.
Oh, that's a meme that takes place in the middle of a rap battle.
Yes. Ben knows what I'm
saying. I guess I've not seen this.
You've seen it too, but you need to see it.
Yeah, that meme springs back from the whole chocolate droppa shit that that's not dated as an old, but it goes back. It has history.
Yeah, it's a few years old at this point.
Honestly, the amount of memes that I'm exposed to on a daily basis,
you've seen,
and especially with the ever-growing like popularity of social media and everything becomes a meme, I probably have and just don't remember.
Okay, you've seen it. I promise you've seen it. That being said, though, I just thought it was just funny. You know, I'm like, it didn't bother me none. I do like the fact that we are continuing to have the Iron Spider suit with the fucking mechanical arms and all that shit. I was like, that shit is dope as fuck. I'm like, can he just have that permanently? I know he's not, but shit was dope.
He has the black suit?
Yeah, he has a black suit, so we got a little Spider-Man noir kind of vibes going on in there, and he also has his traditional, suit, at least for the MCU version of Spider-Man. Another thing that's a little bit of a controversy.
Uh-huh.
Do we feel that it's okay for Nick Fury to call Spider-Man a bitch? I will give you my opinion off the bat. I co-sign that shit. I was like, yep. I was like, hold on, because he basically calls him out because Peter's like, oh, they're like, we need your help. And he's like, well, you couldn't call Thor. And they're like, he's off world. And they're like, what about Captain Marvel? And they're like, not available. He said, well, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And Nick Fury goes, bitch, please, like, you've been to space. And I'm like, yeah, at that point, there's not really anything that you could say, like, oh, well, that's kind of outside of my purview. Like, no, you fought aliens
You're an
in
Avenger
space.
now. You gotta step it up. Sorry, you're part of the team, kid.
You wanted to be an Avenger, so now you gotta go do Avenger shit.
Yep. Sucks being a grown-up, doesn't it?
Is Nick Fury... Or rather, was Samuel L. Jackson just Nick Fury all along?
Oh, and maybe.
Like, Nick Fury started by trying to, like, rob McDowell's, and then he wound up being, like, the head honcho of the Avengers. Like, that's... I want to see that story arc fleshed out more.
He was on crack for a while. He had a Jerry curl for a while.
And for whatever reason, he decided to chain Christina Ricci up to
to a fucking radiator, Yeah.
I missed that movie.
Black Snake Moan.
It's
actually a pretty good movie. Yeah, but it threw me off because I was like, oh my god! I was like, they just like threw that in the trailer. That would have been. And see, I'm gonna laugh at it in the movie theater anyway, just because it's funny, just to see Sam Jackson call anybody a bitch. Because the moment he said it, it made me hearken back to Pulp Fiction, where he's talking about Marcellus Wallace, and he's like, does he look like a bitch?
Like a bitch.
Like that was the first thing I thought of.
Now that's a meme right there. That's a Grease.
Oh, man.
Pulp
He's
Fiction
like, no.
Right
he's like, then why'd you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett? I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
But
I haven't seen that movie in forever. Should probably watch it again.
But one of the reasons why I felt like I'm being lied to is because we know, if you know comics or you even watch the Saturday morning cartoon show, Mysterio is a villain.
Yes.
And in this,
he didn't look like a villain.
He's coming off as, they explicitly say that he is from another Earth in a alternate dimension. So we've opened up the possibility of multiverses, which will probably be how we end up getting X-Men and the Fantastic Four finally into the MCU. Because unless you're just going to be like, the first mutant was born yesterday. It's like, we don't want to see the origin story of every mutant character from the X-Men.
Right.
So the only way that they're going to make that make sense to bring them in is just going to have to be from another Earth. And then they come in. That way, you can still have your cake and eat it too. Because I always thought it was weird in the comics and in the cartoons how the X-Men and the Avengers and shit all exist in the same universe.
But they never come together?
No, because they do. But people accept Captain America and the Hulk and shit like that,
True.
but they don't like mutants for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they don't know that Peter Parker was bit by a spider. They just know that he has power. So how do they differentiate between him and Wolverine?
They're okay with the aliens, but they're not okay with the mutants.
Yeah, that never made sense to me. It's like, we don't like mutants because y'all are weird freaks. And it's like, but...
A big green guy is okay.
But the Thing, he's okay? And,
Right.
like, Mr. Fantastic, that's cool? Like, that never made sense to me. So, it would make more sense for them to say, okay, these characters are from an alternate Earth where the Avengers and shit don't exist, but mutants do. And they're, like, you know, second-class citizens where they come from and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then they can occasionally come together. Then you can still have your cake and eat it, too, and not be like, well, why didn't they just call the X-Men to come help and fuck some shit up?
I can kind of see that storyline play
See?
out. I like
See?
that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Let's keep with that.
But from a cynical perspective, this also opens up the possibility of them being able to contrive a reason to retcon a previous film.
That is true. That is true. That's one of the things I'm worried
A
about.
previous X-Men film or a previous Marvel film?
A previous any film. Because of all these movies are technically, I guess you can't say the same universe because now they're going to have like parallel universes, but for the sake of argument, all these films take place in the same universe. They all are connected. There is continuity. This is going to give them a scapegoat for making another film that the writing's kind of fucked up on. They can say, "Oh, well, this happened."
Right, because of the alternate universe. That's I know. I was like, he turned into like
it's giving them
like
an
a
out.
gangster
a
from
Dick
the
Tracy
30s.
villain for a minute. Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying they will
Sure.
do that or use that as an out, but I'm saying it opens up the possibility for them to just retcon their
But
own
no,
shit.
you're right. You're right because
Which this far down the line in the MCU would be really annoying, especially if you're a hardcore fan.
no, which you're absolutely right because that was the issue I had with Endgame and the whole time travel thing because I'm like, now that we've introduced time travel into the universe, now granted Doctor Strange did it with the Time Stone, but that was different. That was like, he doesn't really use that very often. He's not supposed to. But now that they've built an actual time machine,
X-Men had time travel too.
sure, and look at how fucked up their continuity is.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
that's what I'm worried about because now going forward, anytime anything happens, you can just say, well, y'all got a time machine. Why can't you just go back and change it? Or they can just say, oh, well, the timeline was corrupted because of such and such, and now this person's here.
Right.
Either way, it opens up a lot of possibilities and a lot of things that could be problematic in the future. But according to how they're presenting Mysterio in this trailer, he is a good guy, and he's trying to help fight these elemental creatures off. I like the fact that we're getting some other father figures in Peter's life, because I mean Uncle Ben's dead and now Tony's dead, so we kind of got Happy Hogan coming in and he's kind of playing like a dad figure to him, and it even seems like Mysterio is kind of playing a father figure to him as well,
Yeah, a little bit.
because I mean they're sitting and talking. He's like, well, what do you want, Peter? And he's like, man, I just want to fuck MJ. I mean, I just want to go tell, he's like, I just want to go tell the girl I really like, you know, how I feel about her and just enjoy my vacation. And he's like, well, you know, being a hero requires sacrifice, and sometimes people die and fucked up shit happen. So I'm like, I really hope though that I'm almost certain he's going to be the villain in this by the end. And I like how they're setting it up because they're going to make Peter trust him so much that by the time he does his turn, it's going to be a lot more satisfying to see him like go full on bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he starts off and he's just like, I'm a crazy supervillain, muhaha, it's not as entertaining as to see somebody have a personal connection to them. Kind of like one of my favorite Spider-Man movies is Spider-Man 2. And that one, mostly because of the relationship that Dr. Octopus and Peter have.
Sure.
Because he starts off as like a mentor to him.
Right.
And then when he finally goes back, it's like, oh, damn, like that's fucked up. And the whole movie, he's like trying to get through to him like, this is not you, man. Like, you know, I trusted you. Like, don't do this shit. But it doesn't turn out good. And then he ends up having to kill himself by the end. But so I would like to see them kind of have a villain turn with Mysterio, but him having built a rapport with Peter throughout the course of the movie.
I'm kind of excited about Jake Gyllenhaal being Mysterio.
Yeah, good casting. Yeah, good job.
I was a little leery at first, and then after seeing this trailer and seeing just everything, like the way they got him looking, the way he sounds.
He's selling it.
it works.
It's
It
like
works
this
for
motherfucker
me.
is wearing like a pretty much like a gladiator's like armor,
And a
a
fish
big
bowl.
ass cape, and a fishbowl on his head, and he is selling the fuck out of that shit. I was like, I believe it. I believe that dude believes that he is who he say he is.
It's like when they cast Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I was like,
that was perfect casting. To
I don't
me.
know
I was like,
about that.
I couldn't picture nobody else playing that character but him. But that's me.
I
though.
don't know. I just like
Now him as Green Lantern, no, but he didn't sell that.
we're
though.
not going to go there
No, we're not talking
because
about
we
that
have
movie ever
differences of opinions on
again.
that.
Yeah,
But I enjoy Jake Gyllenhaal as
Mm-hmm.
Mysterio. He's selling it well, so I'm kind of excited for that.
I like too as well in this that they aren't even pulling the Lois Lane Clark Kent thing where it's like, oh well, does she know he's Superman? Does she not know? Like, MJ just straight up, she's like, yeah, I know you're fucking Spider-Man. She's like, and Peter's like, what? No, no, I ain't.
I thought maybe I got this wrong, but I thought she said we know, as in not just her, but his
I'm
friends
sure
too.
Ned knows.
Oh, well, yeah, Ned definitely knows because he helps Peter with everything. Matter of fact, in Infinity War, Ned has to distract everybody on the bus so Peter can jump out the window and go swing off.
Oh, okay, because I haven't seen the
Yeah.
film, so
But
I
no,
don't
she-
know.
You-
But I could have sworn she
You're
said
killing
we
me,
know.
Ben.
No,
You're
no,
killing me.
she
Implies it's
says
more
that
than
I
just
know.
MJ.
No, because when they're on their
Okay.
field trip in Washington, Spider-Man pops up there.
Yeah.
And then they're on a field trip in Italy, and then Spider-Man pops up again. And she's like, motherfucker, I ain't stupid. Goddamn. Like, every time you around,
Well, yeah.
Spider-Man's around. Like, he showed up to the party that you were at in Spider-Man Homecoming. Like, come on, man. Like, oh, because Ned's like, Peter knows Spider-Man. It's like, why would you know him? Because at least in the comics and in other versions, Peter's a reporter or, photojournalist, so he takes
Sure.
pictures and shit. So you can kind of, excuse that. In this, he don't do none of that shit.
No,
He's
he's
just
in
a
high
high school
school.
kid. So it's like, why do you know Spider-Man? It's like, he lives in my neighborhood. Like, shut the fuck up.
It's a friendly neighborhood. He lives
Right.
in my neighborhood.
Right. But I mean, everything about the setup, I'm really interested to see what they do with it. I mean, the fucking
Special effects look great.
look dope as shit. Like when they have that little shot of him running up the wall with the lava monster
Mm-hmm.
thing and shooting fire at him, I'm like, that's dope. That's dope as fuck. When he's fighting the dudes in the restaurant and he's webbing them all up, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's dope as fuck. Y'all selling it. I'm with it. Even all the shit with Mysterio, like him flying and shooting the green beams and shit.
I was worried it was going to be too goblin-esque.
Yeah, but
and I was like,
they're not really doing that.
No,
yeah.
they're not. They.
One of the things, though, I did see people kind of complaining about online. They were talking about how they don't like the fact that they're trying to set Spider-Man up to be the next Iron Man. And I'm like, I don't think that's not what I got from it. What I got from it, because Peter says the world needs the next Iron Man.
Right.
When he says that, he's talking to Mysterio. I think he's referring to Mysterio being the next Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Because they even say in the first trailer, they was like, oh, he's like Iron Man and Thor mixed into one. They're selling him like he's going to be the new hero of this
He's
universe.
going to turn around and screw them all.
They're really telegraphing the fact he's going to turn heel.
Yes.
They're really going hard.
Because they really are trying to sell you like, oh, he's the good guy. He's going to be the new this. And it's like, nah, this motherfucker ain't. So
he about to stab all of y'all in the back.
Mhm.
Just like take the blade and just run it across.
Pretty much. So, I mean,
Now, I don't like the idea that I don't like the idea that it's pretty obvious he will be the bad guy. But I do like the idea that they may be using this. I think they might be using this as a means to harden, to like a coming of age tale of the teenage
for
Spider-Man.
him not to
Harden
trust
him
people.
up. Yeah, because I mean the only person that he really truly, if I got this right, and I'm guessing here, the only real person that he really trusted with this information about who he was Iron Man.
Yeah.
And because of Infinity War, or I'm sorry, because of Endgame, Iron Man's done. So like all there is left is him and Jon Favreau.
Happy.
To my knowledge.
yeah, happy Hogan
Happy.
because I'm happy. He's like, bitch, I don't work for Spider-Man. I work with Spider-Man. Don't you ever disrespect me like that. I work for Tony Stark. Oh, that's right.
So
I work for Pepper
exactly,
Potts,
exactly.
okay?
Yeah.
And the only reason I knew who Jon Favreau was in the film was because I've seen some of like the Iron Man ones.
Yep.
So I know he's the tie. So I like the fact they still have ties to
Oh, yeah.
Iron Man, and they're using this to hopefully better flesh out the character development of the teenage Spider-Man. Because once again, he might end up befriending somebody who he thinks is, more experienced than him, wiser, older, better. And once again, somebody whom he has that like apprentice to mentorship with, when he winds up being a bad guy, like, where are they going to go from here? Because this is really going to harden the character.
No, you're right, because that's going to crush him.
And I like that. That is great development.
You're right. That's going to crush him, and that's going to make him sour to other mentor-esque relationships. Exactly.
And if that is what happens, or somewhat close to what does happen with him as a character, then in the end, I'm not going to mind them telegraphing so hard Mysterio's heel turn. Yeah,
because you're right. Like, the more you think about it, it's like, yeah, they're going out of their way to be like, he's the good guy, and it's like, y'all don't need to sell it that hard. Like,
we get it.
Yeah, because they're trying to get us more invested. They're trying to get us more invested in Peter Parker because he might end up being the new face of a franchise. I think that's a really good idea if that's what they're doing.
I agree. And plus, too, shout out to Tom Holland crying, because that boy can cry his ass off. Like, in
I'm
Civil
nodding
War,
in approval as y'all cannot see me.
In Civil War, he doesn't do any, like, really super sad emotional beats, but in Homecoming, in Infinity War, and in Endgame, he all has crying scenes. And in the trailer, where he's like, I just miss him, and they cut to him when he's on the plane, and he just looked like he'd been bawling his eyes out.
I'm so glad that he is not an ugly crier.
like Toby.
Toby Maguire was the worst.
Oh, poor Toby.
He was such a horrible crier.
Yeah, he did have an ugly cry face.
He had like that, his face would all wrinkle up.
But that's why I bought his crying too, though, because I'm like, nobody
fake as hell.
Could cry that ugly and cry pretend. Like, I was like, that's a real cry.
People cry ugly when they're faking it.
But anyway, I mean, this is coming out, when? July 2nd. So, for July weekend. Yes.
I will not be here.
So, I'm really looking forward to that.
Actually, no. I will be here. I'll be in town. Because we're not leaving until the 3rd. So,
okay.
Yeah. Wait, it comes out on a Tuesday?
July 2nd's not a Tuesday.
Yes, it is. Because the Wednesday is the 3rd.
Well, shit. You know what? It probably, like, internationally, so it probably comes out in, like, Europe on the 2nd, and then, like, the fucking
probably
5th
comes
or
out on the
6th.
5th.
Yeah, it comes out in the U.S. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm pretty sure it comes out the 5th. It would have to.
Okay.
Because we don't get movie releases on Tuesday.
No, not usually.
And we're not going to get one on 4th of July.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Everything I've said reads the 2nd, so yeah, maybe that's not domestically.
Yeah, it's probably international.
That'd be weird.
Unless they just put it out on Tuesday and they just said, fuck it, we finna have a long-ass holiday weekend.
Maybe.
Anyway, moving on.
Say friendly neighborhood Spider-Man again. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say friendly neighborhood Spider-Man one more goddamn time.
After much debate and speculation, we have finally seen the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, and it is fucking trash. Moving on. That's all that needs to be said. No.
Garbage.
No.
Gabage.
Yep.
No
Garbage.
R's.
Garbage.
Oh my god.
I don't know what the fuck is happening. First off, what happened to James Marsden's career? Like,
Man,
I liked him in the X-Men
Cyclops
movies as Cyclops, and he has just been progressively getting in shittier and shittier movies.
He had that movie with Katherine Heigl, and then that was it.
You know
she
what?
Fucked him over.
You know what's funny too is this is not the first time he's been with some kind of animated like creature thing. Do you remember Hop?
Yeah, the bunny.
Yeah,
where he was like the stoner dude. Or whatever.
He's in that shit. Yeah, and I'm just like, you didn't learn from that movie. Like, he just need a paycheck. He probably owed the IRS some money.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's like pulling a Nick Cage where he's like, I got to do anything to just keep their ass off of me. Like, I owe so many back taxes. I don't even know what to do with myself.
It's funny that you're talking shit about him because he is in Deadpool.
Oh, is he? Oh my god.
He is a main character in that
James
show.
Marsden.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened
James
to him.
Marsden.
I think he's a good actor.
But
yeah, he is. Ooh.
Hop was messed up.
Lord have mercy.
And this does not look any better. And I'm sorry, but Jim Carrey.
Man, okay, look, R.I.P. to Jim Carrey.
Don't knock him. Jim Carrey, I think is going to make a damn good
I
Robotnik.
feel like he is going to be the best part of this movie, but that's not saying a lot because, okay, be honest. Did you laugh at anything he did in this movie, in the trailer?
He reminded me of fucking Me, Myself, and Irene, and I hate that movie.
But you know what, though?
He's stupid in it.
But you know what, though? Look, this is my thing. If you're going to go back to wacky Jim Carrey, you got to go full wacky Jim Carrey.
You got to go mask
I
Jim
felt
Carrey.
like he was very subdued and, like, they were kind of holding him back. I wanted, like, the Riddler crazy Jim Carrey or, like, Ace Ventura crazy Jim Carrey. Like, this didn't, I don't know, something just rang false about it to me.
And I want to see him in a fat suit.
I don't need him to be fat. I do need him to be bald and have the crazy mustache. They showed that for a split second at the end of the trailer with him looking like the traditional Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, but with his little slick back hair and, like, the weird, he reminded me, you know who he reminded me of? Is it Christopher Lloyd in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit? He plays the villain in that. Is that he reminded me of that villain?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Like, I don't remember that character's name, but he reminded me of that. Like, his look. And I was just like, that's not really Robotnik. But then by the end, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, now I see it.
I still want him in a fat suit.
That's fair.
I like when Jim Carrey dresses up. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I do too. I like him. I like him in costumes.
It becomes part of it, like the Grinch. My God.
Oh yeah. Or even
great.
even I don't even care for those series of Unfortunate Event. I don't really care for that movie, but he was pretty good in it.
Yeah.
So we gotta address the elephant in the room. Did you see how they massacred my boy?
Oh my God.
Like, what did they do to Sonic? What is this?
What's with them teeth?
The teeth, his eyes. I mean, just like his facial
looks like
expression.
a stoned cat.
His body. Like, okay, they try to do a couple of little Easter eggs from the game where they have the scene towards the end of the trailer where they shoot all the missiles at him and he, like, freezes time because he's moving so fast, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's, like, tapping his foot and looking at his watch. That's a throwback to the game.
Yes,
because he does that in the game. Like, when you
stop moving.
Yeah, you don't pause the game, but you're not using the controller. He starts tapping on his foot and looking at his wrist like he's, like... And he looks up at the screen like, what the fuck?
Like, hurry the hell up. I got places to be.
I like the little nod to that. I like the nod to the game with the ring sound at the beginning.
That
and
was
then
cool.
Instead of having the stars around the Paramount logo, it was the rings. I thought that was kind of cool. Everything else I hated.
Yeah,
I hated everything about it.
Not digging any part of this.
Like, I mean...
Like, I'm for real, Sonic looks like a stoned cat.
Me and Benwah talked about this before. Why can they not make a good video game movie? Like, I don't know why it's so hard.
I don't know.
I don't understand why this is difficult.
You would think that would be a good movie, like a good base for making a movie, because you've got so much material to work with.
Yeah. And
especially if there are multiple... Like,
look at what they're doing with Detective Pikachu.
Right?
Just make that.
Right?
I haven't seen it yet, but everything I've heard about it is good. You don't have to try to make it based around the game. Just take the characters, make their own story, but make it relatable to people who like the games.
Right.
That's all you gotta do. I don't know why that's so hard. Ben, what did you think about this shit? Like, please, like, am I crazy? Like, what's going on?
The first thing I thought was, once again, the lack of creativity in Hollywood. Don't ruin something from my childhood. Sonic is going to be an alien.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not
movie.
digging the whole alien vibe thing. That's weird, because Sonic's never been an alien.
Sonic may be the main character, the prime real estate, but James Marsden is going to be like his sidekick, his helper, his buddy. Why couldn't they just have Tails?
That's a good question.
Knuckles,
I don't know why there's not Knuckles or
something.
Tails in this. I don't really want to see like a human sidekick. Sonic never had a human sidekick.
No, Sonic didn't even have humans until the dreaded Sonic 2006 in the story at all. Which play that game if you want to
put yourself
get
to
drunk.
sleep.
Make it a drinking game. Yeah. I don't want to see this. I'm happy that Jim Carrey took the role of Robotnik or Eggman, whatever you want to call him. And the dialogue, for the most part, I think is actually pretty spot on for him. I did not like the obvious jokes they were going for, like when his assistant or whomever says,
Yeah.
"You're basic." I'm like, I cringed so fucking hard.
The doctor thinks you're basic.
And then at the end of the trailer, where apparently there's going to be another woman whom we have no idea who the fuck she is, but she's well aware of Sonic because she's standing right next to him when Sonic's in a duffel bag, and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's a kid, but it's not mine." I'm like, this isn't funny. They're going to try to make this appeal to... I don't know who the fuck they're trying to make this appeal to.
Because kids don't give a shit about Sonic. I mean, I guess their thing is, oh, well, they'll just watch anything with some animated shit in it. But they're definitely not appealing to people our age who grew up playing Sonic. So I'm like, who is this for?
The same audience that's getting that damn Dora movie.
Yeah, because it's too old for kids, but the people who are old enough to appreciate it don't give a fuck. So it's like, who are you making this for? I don't understand it. Okay. I'm going to rewrite this movie real quick.
All right. Let's hear it.
Okay, hear me out. All you need to do is take Sonic. You don't even necessarily need Tails and Knuckles because you can introduce them in sequels. Mm-hmm. Because this ain't getting a sequel. I'll tell you that right now.
God, I hope not.
I'm like, I ain't even seen this shit, and I promise you this shit ain't getting a sequel. But you start it off, and you just make it in his world. Take all the human shit out. Don't try to do a Who Framed Roger Rabbit or a Smurfs movie or Alvin and the Chipmunks and put him in with real people. Just put him in pull a Toy Story and make it a completely animated movie. Make his own universe. Put him there. Explain the rules of it and just go. That's all they need to do with Super Mario Brothers. But they're like, we brought them from the real world and now they're with the Koopa land and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, don't do all that silly shit. Just make it an established universe on its own, and we'll buy it.
Right.
That's it. That's
We're
all you have to
actually
do.
more likely to buy it if that's what you do, as opposed to putting it in real life, because those of us who play video games don't play them to be in real life.
Exactly. And it's like, and
like,
I know
we want the fantasy. We want the escape.
Exactly. And I get what they're trying to do. They're like, we're trying to do a fish out of water story. And it's like, yeah, but why? Like, you don't need to do that because
nobody's asking for this shit.
From what I can surmise from the trailer and from the little bit I know about the backstory of this, is that basically Sonic comes from his own universe into our world, and the rings act as like a portal to go between places. Because in the trailer, you see James Marsden and the girl falling together, and they fall through one of the rings, and then they fall somewhere else. So it's like the rings have some kind of Doctor Strange portal shit going on, and I'm like,
that's a bit of an Easter egg to Sonic 3 Knuckles, where the rings can take you into a bonus stage. And the first Sonic the Hedgehog, too. That it's somewhat of an Easter egg for that.
I mean, so there's that, I guess, but I'm just like, I don't need it. My only thing that I could say I could kind of be looking forward to is maybe, if we're lucky, we might get Supersonic. If they put Supersonic on screen, I will let some of my hate go. I've wanted to see that.
Until you see Supersonic.
And then it's going to look horrible. But that's another point we haven't gotten to yet. The director of the movie has came out on Twitter, and he said, thank you for the support and the criticism. He's like, your voices have been made loud and clear, and we are going to redesign and change the look of Sonic. So they have 6 months, because this comes out in December, to pretty much, November, redo this entire design of this character and pretty much redo the whole movie all over again. And get a Sonic that is hopefully more accurate to his video game counterpart. Because what they got going now is some weird, like, human-animal hybrid thing with, like, human teeth and, like, a weird face and body, and it's all of it just looks wrong.
Very wrong.
Like, everything about it looks just wrong, and I'm like, why? Like, who signed off on this? Because Sega even denounced this shit. They was like, hey, man, look, we ain't got nothing to do with this shit. We sold the rights to that character for a movie a long time ago. We have no control over this. This is Paramount doing this shit.
Right.
So, and shout out to the animators. I'm so sorry. Because later we're going to talk about crunch and shit and things like that in video game industry. And you know right now, those poor animators are like working hellify overtime to try and fix this shit. And he even puts a hashtag in his tweet of gotta fix it fast. And I was like, oh God. I'm like, it's so cringy. Because everything about it is so cringy. I just feel bad. for everybody involved. Jim Carrey is better than this. I want to say James Marsden is better than this, but he's done this shit before. He should have learned his lesson by now, so I don't feel bad for him no more. And Sonic definitely deserved better than this.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Sonic,
he really does.
Besides Mario, is like one of the most OG recognizable characters. Like him and like maybe Mega Man.
I would say Sonic, Pac-Man, Mega Man.
Zelda. You can throw him in there, yeah.
That's
Or
about
Link, I should say.
Yep, you're right, Link.
Yeah. Oh, don't get it twisted.
I
Don't get yelled at.
saw this thing on Facebook that was like, oh, well, we should have a Zelda game where the main character is a female. And I'm like, have y'all not played The Legend of Zelda? Zelda's the princess. Link's the guy in the green.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I'm gonna lose geek points. I've never played any of the Zelda games. Sorry.
Now the trailer, it's not just the aesthetic of Sonic that got a lot of backlash. Once again, we found a trailer that is loathed. Dislikes to like ratio is a damn near 1.75 to 1.
Ooh, yeah.
600 as of this recording, 618,000 dislikes. 348,000 likes.
Damn.
That's horrible.
It's more like 1.76, 1.77 to 1, somewhere in that range.
Can we get this to 1 million dislikes?
Yeah, fucking Gangsta's
Oh!
Paradise. Is that supposed to make us think he's cool?
You know, I
forgot
what? I
about
had
that.
wiped that from my mind because it was so horrible.
He's a G?
Yeah, again,
I mean-
who is this for? Like what? Like
Anybody
yeah.
who knows about Gangster's Paradise, they're not asking for this.
I don't even. What, fans of fucking Dangerous Minds? Like I don't. Like who
All
is
I
that
thought
for?
about. I'm like,
Oh God.
I think that's supposed to give us the perception that Sonic is cool. I think every line of dialogue in this movie makes it seem like it's trying too hard to be cool.
Oh, and
you know, if you try hard to be
fail
cool,
epically.
you are gonna fail miserably.
and shout out to the guy doing the voice of
And I
Sonic
think-
too, because I feel like he's
Oh yeah.
he just need a check, and I'm just like, I'm sure he's probably better than this too.
Probably so.
Ben Schwartz, I think he's gonna do a good job voicing Sonic, but good thing no one's gonna actually see his face
Right.
on
Dig
camera.
up Jaleel White.
Yeah, he ain't dead. I know, right? From the cartoon.
Well,
yeah.
I know he's not
Yeah,
dead,
from the
but
cartoon.
he just
From
has
one
weird
version of the
hair.
cartoon.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
'Cause
Yeah,
there were
yeah,
two
one
Sonic.
version. Yeah.
Well, two Sonic cartoons back in the 90s. I think there might be a newer Sonic cartoon, isn't
I
there?
think, but I'm
Maybe.
not 100% sure.
Anyway, I think you were onto something, Mike. First off, just being a huge fan of Sonic and knowing about the universe and the game itself. Sonic is not a game that should have an adaptation in the real world. It should not be live action. This should be something that is like Pixar style animated, like you mentioned, because that can appeal to families, young kids, and older people who are familiar with the source material. Simple fucking plot, all right? This is Benwah's plot for the Sonic movie, right here. Sonic is a hedgehog. He's an animal. Dr. Robotnik is a human. He somehow found this source of power called a Chaos Emerald. He uses that to entrap animals into his own robotic devices. Sonic saves the animals.
Yeah, that's your movie.
Sounds good to me.
Fucking Sonic. That's Sonic
Yeah,
1
that's
right
all
fucking
you need.
there.
Like,
That's
like
all
I
you
mean,
need.
And granted, yes, you would flesh it out with, maybe other characters and give him some development and stuff like that.
You wouldn't not know. You don't necessarily need to. You don't even need to. This can be a simple protagonist, as in Sonic. He catches wind of stuff going on from Robotnik. He goes to stop it. Just turns out he's a really fast hedgehog. He saves animals. That's all it is. Fucking PETA endorsed.
Yeah, there you go. PETA approved.
There you go. And if you want to have deeper meaning to it, the mechanization of the world, deforestation, declining populations of animals, endangered species, you can have this be a conscientious film while at the same time being true to the source material and appealing to all audiences by being like an action, adventure, Pixar style animated film.
Especially too, because especially after watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
Right.
they can't make an excuse of like, oh, well, you know, people don't like animation like that. Like, that movie made a good amount of money, and everybody, for the most part, that saw it loved it. So I'm like, and then, again, like Toy Story, what was that movie with the girl with the emotions inside her?
Inside Out.
Inside Out. Like, I mean, you have so many examples of this working over and over and over again. Just do that.
I would say all of Pixar's career.
Yeah,
Basically.
like I don't understand what, like, I mean, this again, kind of like with the Venom movie.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like something that would have came out in like the 90s, where they were like, oh, we got it, we'll bring Sonic to our world, and it's like, it'll be cool, and he'll be drink Mountain Dew and eat Doritos and listen to Gangsta's Paradise, and oh god, everything about this feels so dated.
It really does.
Like, I feel like they made the script for this, and they just never got it out of development hell. And they finally brought the movie out, and they're just like, just film it. Just as it is. Like, sir, well, should we update it and take out some of these corny-ass jokes? No, just film it just as it is.
No, it's great. It was great 30 years ago.
This is another example. Every fucking week we talk about trailers, and I feel like every week or two I say the same thing. A lack of creativity in Hollywood has them either bringing back former IPs in the attempt of trying to appeal to an audience of parents now who grew up with this shit. They're going for the nostalgia trip. And they're ruining so many good fucking properties and not coming up with anything unique. It's really making me fucking hate Hollywood. Like, I don't see a lot of movies, but this is not going to help.
Or if you're going to bring back an old IP, you got to have a fresh idea to justify it. Because, like I said, even with Detective Pikachu, I don't think anybody was asking for that, but they came at it at a fresh angle, and I'm like, you know what? If you would have just told me about this, I would be like, I don't want to see that shit. But seeing the way y'all attacked it, I'm like, okay, this is something different, and I like what you're doing here. This can be good. This, with Sonic, is shit. Like, and when I say the whole, it feels like it's something that came out in the 90s, I mean, down to the Gangster's Paradise. I mean, they even put Jim Carrey in it. Like, it feel like this was like casting from the 90s. Again, I love Jim Carrey, but I don't think that Jim Carrey wants to do the whole goofy Jim Carrey no more. He's kind of moved on from that in his career. Mm-hmm. Like, he still does comedic stuff, sure, but it's not that like, whoa, zany Carrey. Like,
he's not like off the wall and
right. He don't do
with
that.
Pink hair. And
right. It feels weird seeing him in this because I just feel like his heart's not in it.
Yeah, because he's not at that kind of point in life anymore.
Yeah, I mean, because he was on my suicide watch for a while because he was going through some shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, to see him in this now, I'm just like, it just feels hollow. Like, he's like, Sonic says that line, like, oh, is that all you got? And he's like, actually, no, but thank you for asking. And I'm like, it just don't.
Okay, now I did dig that line because that was like a callback to old school Jim Carrey.
Kinda.
Because he said it in, I think it was in Ace Ventura, and I think it was in,
I guess, but it feels
early 90s.
It
Jim
don't
Carrey.
feel genuine. It feels hollow. And okay, the cringiest part of this whole trailer, beyond the kid in the duffel bag joke, beyond the I'm gonna get 2 million steps today joke, which they already did that in the Detective Pikachu trailer, where he's like, I'm gonna get 200,000 steps today or something because Pikachu's small and he has little legs.
Right.
Was the line where Jim Carrey's like, when he's like asking like who's in charge, and he's like, I am. He's like,
charge? You're nope, not
right.
you.
He's like, nope, wrong. I'm in charge.
Nope,
Not even that part. Specifically, where he's like, the statistical probability of, and I was like, did he just make robot sounds? Did he seriously just make a robot sound and turn his head?
Yeah, he did.
Dr. Robotnik is not
a robot.
Well, okay, he is kinda, because he does all kind of crazy shit to himself too later, but he doesn't act like and then you see here that
he's a robot here.
And I was like, oh, that shit is so cringy. I was like, oh my god, why y'all got Jim Carrey out here doing this shit? Please don't tell me that they need to cut that whole scene from the movie. If there is any funny bits in the movie, cut that shit out. Like, I can't believe that this is your trailer. Like, this is what you're using to sell me on this movie with? Like, hey, go see Sonic in theaters, whatever. This is what you come with? This is the best y'all can put together? And that's bad, because when they show trailers, the trailer company, they try to pick the best scenes and shit to sell you on the movie. I mean, look at how well they did with Suicide Squad. When they did that Bohemian Rhapsody trailer for Suicide Squad, I was like, this shit gonna be fucking dope. And
I think we both said that.
And it was fucking horrible. So if this is the best they could show, the rest of the movie is going to be garbage. I'm telling you.
Hot garbage.
Oh.
No R's. Back in Boston.
So, okay. All right, Ben. When is this shit coming out?
Well, I don't know because let's see what happens after.
Yeah,
post.
right.
But,
do you think they're going to push it
tentatively
back?
speaking,
God, I hope so.
Because they got to redesign?
if they're going to redo all of Sonic, they're going to have to redo everything in post.
Yeah,
It's
man,
possible.
this shit might not even come out this year.
I'm okay with that.
I know it's in November.
It's scheduled, though, for November 8th. And I disagree with you. I think Jim Carrey might be the only, maybe not redeeming for the film, but he might be the only.
Oh, no,
good
I
thing
agree
about
with that. I don't think he's going to be at peak level Jim Carrey. But if there is anything good about it, it'll be him.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to do his best.
Because Dr. Robotnik is, like, maniacal. He is kind of crazy. So the whole sounding like the fucking autistic guy from Grandma's Boy. That doesn't...
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that was a good reference. Good job.
That doesn't bother me because I don't think that's so far-fetched with him as a character. I'm also wondering if at some point, because Jim Carrey is just like a tall, slender guy, I'm wondering at some point, are they going to make any reference to Eggman?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he will get, like if they'll put him in a fat suit, or maybe when he decides to start to experiment on himself and shit, if he'll just get like a big metal body and just look like a big round ball like he does in the game.
I'm good
You know
with
what? That actually makes sense because at some point in the trailer, one of Sonic's, I guess, I don't know what they would call it. One of Sonic's, because he's not like a quill, for lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. One of his quills
hairs.
gets found by Robotnik.
He loses a hair.
Yeah.
Hair, but his hairs don't normally like ping stick in the fucking wood like a splinter. But
if he's a hedgehog, it should be a quill.
A quill.
But yeah.
Yes, and I'm wondering if somehow that could be tied into him becoming a bloated blob. Because the only reason we know of him as Dr. Robotnik is because that's what his name got changed to when it got brought over to the U.S. He was always Eggman in Japan simply because his body was the shape of an egg.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if they're going to somehow tie that in with some of the other Easter eggs, no pun intended. They seem to be doing with the
maybe
film.
he uses that to further his technology or whatever. And I mean, I don't know. And it doesn't feel true to me to Dr. Robotnik because I'm like, yes, Dr. Robotnik had like machines and gadgets and shit, but his whole thing was like experimenting on the animals and making them into like, like his weird science creations, but you don't see any of that in this. You're just like, we got to get him to catch him. And I'm just like, maybe that's what he wants to do with Sonic. I mean, I don't fucking know. Like, it's going to be a shit show. This is going to be the Venom of 2019. I'm putting it out there right now. I know we talked some shit about Aladdin, but the more I see about Aladdin, I'm starting to get more sold on it.
Yeah.
This, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be the Venom of 2019.
Maybe you can just make a wish to Will Smith and
Right,
this ever happened.
Right. But see, and you know what's going to be bad though? Is this what's going to happen? They're going to redesign Sonic. He's going to look good, and the movie's still going to be bad.
Yep.
And then we're really going to be pissed off, because then it's just like, well, shit, you just should have just kept a bad-looking Sonic in a bad movie.
Right.
Then we could just disown this shit completely.
Dismiss the whole thing.
But now you got a more game-accurate version of the character who still is in a fucking shitty movie, and, oh well. We'll see. Mark your calendars, kids, November 8th. Or maybe this will be a New Mutants and it'll get pushed back again and again and again. And then you'll just never fucking see it.
And people will forget about it.
Yep. That's depressing. Anyway, moving on.
I'm not 100% sure why everyone seems to be up in arms about this Sonic movie. Let's be honest, nobody has given two squirts of piss about Sonic in literally decades.
I like schlock.
Schlock.
I like B-movie level, like just creature feature, double drive-in twin theater bullshit movies. Like some shit you'd catch on like AMC at like 3 o'clock in the morning on like a Saturday, just like, and I feel that's what Crawl is.
Yes.
Like,
I got that vibe too.
it's not like the Meg level bad looking, but it looks pretty corny, but I like it at the same time.
It's not as bad as Sharknado.
Right. It's not quite that level.
No.
But it's not far from that either. Because the whole concept, I mean, let's be serious.
It's not Sharknado 5. Sharknado was okay. Sharknado 5 sucked.
Oh, okay. So by the fifth one, then it got, okay.
I like the third one.
But I mean, but like, Ben, like, do you get what I mean? Because when we did our all the horror reviews, we watched some pretty bad horror movies, and do you know what I mean? Like I can enjoy some like bad like horror shit if it's done kind of tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like if they say that it's bad up front.
Yeah.
Like they're not. At least it doesn't seem like they're taking it too seriously. At least
this has like B-movie plot on what would otherwise be probably a AAA film.
Yeah.
Think of like 2012.
Ooh, yeah,
or,
The Day the Earth Stood Still. Or no. Or The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, something
I
like that.
The Day After Tomorrow.
Or whatever the film was where like global warming was going to make the whole planet like
Tomorrow.
freeze and the
Tomorrow.
Ice Age was coming. Day After
Jake
Tomorrow. Okay,
Gyllenhaal
yeah.
is running from ice. Like, huh?
Or I was thinking like no, it wasn't necessarily a good movie, but I was thinking like of the
Yeah, 2012. Yep. Actually, I love that movie. Actually,
2012.
It's so bad, but I love it. I love it for how dumb it is. Even Independence Day to a degree. I mean that had a little bit more care to it, but the concept is like, so we're gonna kill the alien mothership with a computer virus on like a MacBook from like '93. Like, all right, but yeah, okay. So the whole premise of this is there's a horrible hurricane that happens. Is it Florida?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like South Beach, Florida, I think, somewhere in that area. And it washes, you know, like this neighborhood is getting flooded, and it washes all these crocodiles into the area. And this girl is trying to find her dad. She finds him knocked out in the basement. He's bleeding. And a crocodile or alligator, I don't know the difference, attacks her. And I don't know, do you know the difference? Is there warm, like, cold-blooded?
There is a difference.
The crocodiles are usually in warm salt water.
Okay.
And
alligators
are in colder salt water.
Okay.
It's pretty similar to like the frog toad thing.
Yeah.
Well, either way,
like there's a few minor like physical distinctions.
Sure.
But
well, a gator of some kind, of some form.
The gator dial.
Yeah, they basically it's a bottle film where they're trapped in a house and there's fucking alligators trying to kill them. And it looks
so kind of like Lake Placid.
Kind of, sort of, or even think like maybe Anaconda.
Okay.
Maybe, oh god, that movie. Whew. Even Deep Blue Sea, I kind of got some vibes of that. Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. If we can get LL Cool J to make a song for this movie, I can die a happy man.
Oh man.
Deepest, bluest, my hat is like a shark's fin. Like, he wrote that.
I know.
That is a line. And he went in the studio and recorded that. And then shot a music video of him turning into a shark. Anyway.
Yeah. That music
go
video.
look up Deepest, Bluest fucking music video on YouTube, kids. You'll see what I'm talking about. The premise is dumb, but I kind of liked it, though. Like, it was suspenseful. Like, watching it, especially because of the setup with how they were trying to fight off the gators. Like, there's this shot in the trailer where the gator bites her arm and she like starts shooting it in the fucking head. She has a gun and it bites her arm with the arm that has the gun in it, and she just starts shooting it like inside his mouth. And I was like, I like that. Like, that is dumb, but I like it.
I'm telling you, it's like right up there with like Deep Blue Sea and Sharknado.
Yeah, no, I'm getting a lot of vibes of that.
Sharknado was dumb, but I could accept it the first time.
Yeah.
Like the first one,
sure.
I was like, all right, I can get into this.
Sure.
And then by like the third or fourth one, they had already cut off his hand and put a chainsaw on his hand, and so then it flashed back to Evil Dead.
He became Bruce Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah. He basically
like,
becomes Ash from Evil Dead. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, I feel like somebody should be getting sued, which, funny enough, that we bring up Evil Dead and Ash and all that, because Sam Raimi, the director of the Evil Dead movies, is a producer on this movie. So
that makes sense why it's got that kind of
that kind of B movie.
bad
Now he's not
B-movie.
directing it, but he's producing it.
Producing it, so I'm sure he's had some influence.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, the whole thing, it's like, oh, and the house is filling with water, and he's like, we have an hour before we're gonna be flooded out, and you know the emergency crews try to come save him and shit. The best part of that whole trailer was when the dude opens up like the cellar door.
Oh yeah.
And then the gator comes out and I laughed so hard.
Dude, I thought it was funny when you see like film from the news, officials saying there will not be there to help you, and like in the next shot, 3 people are trying to help him. I'm like, are those?
Yeah.
I'm like, those can't just be other people trying to leave because they got on orange and yellow vests. So I'm like,
and they came on a boat.
They're the volunteers.
I'm like, wait a minute, what? I thought y'all weren't gonna be here. Like, what?
Maybe they showed you that out of context. It was after they got 8, and they was like, yes, now no one is coming to help you. So
nope,
sorry.
I don't know. I don't know though, because I feel like I don't have to watch this film because they played the whole film in the trailer.
They did
was
show
really
a whole lot.
Long trailer.
Like, well, not just that it was long, but they showed, like, all they needed to show was the setup of them being stuck in the house and just show some flashes of them trying to survive and just left it at that. They laid out way too much of the story, you know, with the people trying to rescue them and them trying to get out and the house flooding with water. I'm like, yeah, you're right. They pretty much
here's
told
the plot,
you the whole
all right?
movie.
There's a national emergency from FEMA or whatever who says, hey, there's going to be a hurricane. You need to evacuate. This woman's like, no, I'm not going to evacuate. I got to find my father. She finds her father who's in a cellar or basement or something who's injured. Flooding happens. People say, oh, we're not going to help you. People help them anyway. Alligators attack them. They fight alligators. You've given us everything but the ending. Literally.
And honestly, that shot where she's shooting a gator in the head through the mouth, that might be the end of the fucking movie
Not
right
just
there.
that, but she's in a shower and she tricks a fucking gator.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, she's like, come on, you son of a bitch, or whatever. That's where I was like, oh, this is some, like, B-movie, like, bullshit right here.
They've
like,
given me everything in the film except the ending.
Movie. Yep.
So
it's gonna end up being one of those sci-fi movies that should have never been in theaters that are gonna end up
like on the Sci-Fi Channel.
It should have been
right,
like
yeah.
straight to DVD.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's gonna be like straight on a sci-fi original.
Yep.
Yes. On the fucking Sci-Fi Channel or something.
So
where
like,
it doesn't even go to theater. It just is there.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need like an MST 3000 like
oh,
riff track of
yeah,
this.
Mystery Science
But
Theater.
they give us everything except the goddamn ending. If it's like most films, they'll survive. Probably injured, but they'll survive. So why the fuck do we gotta watch this film?
Yeah, the dad is probably gonna have to sacrifice himself to let her live, and she's gonna out trick the gators into some. She's gonna pull like some Terminator
I would
shit.
say you never know. It might end like Lake Placid, where Betty White's feeding the little mutant babies and.
Oh, no, she's going to pull a Sarah Connor in her original Terminator, and it's going to be coming towards her, and she's going to trap it in some kind of vice or some shit, and then it's going to just die, like, right inches from her face, like, snapping his jaws at her or some shit. Like, I'm telling you, mark my words.
Have Sam Jackson come out. Motherfucker, shoot. Bam,
right, bitch,
done.
please.
Bitch,
Use his face.
Alligators in my fucking basement.
Does this alligator look like a crocodile, bitch? Or something?
I don't know.
That didn't work.
Took it too far there.
I know, that didn't work.
I get what you were going for, but...
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel bad because I almost feel like I want to watch this film just to talk shit about the film.
That's my morbid
If that's what they're
about
going
it.
for, fucking you won.
Yeah. Like that's why I want to see it. And I felt the same way about Sonic though too. I don't want to see it. I have no interest in it because I know it's going to be bad, but I want to see it because I want to make fun of how bad it is.
No, but Sonic, it's different because Sonic is so bad it's bad. This has the potential to be so bad it's good. And,
that is true. Sonic is offensive.
And while I don't know the actress who was going to play like the main woman. I do know the father is Barry Pepper. He's a really good actor. I've seen him in multiple films.
That is who that is, yeah. Because I was like, man, he looks familiar, but they made him look all like ratty, and he had a beard, and I didn't quite recognize him. But I'm like, this guy looks familiar.
Just looking at him made me want to watch The Green Mile again.
Yes. Man, I don't know. Like again, this is some like B movie schlock shit, but I loved every minute of it. I was like, you know what? this looks dumb and fun, and I want to go on this ride. Like, fuck it. It's like, you know, it's like riding in like go-karts. You know, it's like, it's stupid. It's not really fulfilling, but for the little bit of time you're doing it, it's like, hey, I had fun with it. Like,
I like go-karts.
Now this,
like, I don't know.
This film only.
I like go-karts.
This film actually has a really small budget for a bigger film.
That doesn't surprise me, though.
$17 million, which makes me wonder: are they going to be focusing
Wow.
more on practical effects? Because any CG they do in this, obviously the alligator will be CG, but I'm wondering how much is going to be, you know, computerized and how much is going to be practical. Because if they go the route of making most of it practical, I think this could end up looking really good for what it is. Like, and they don't really need to have that big of a set either.
No, and neither of these actors, and because it's going to be like a, you know, a bottle film, they're not going to have a lot of characters. I mean, you might see the rescue people and maybe some people on the news, but that's probably all the other actors that are going to be in this, is just the two main characters.
Yeah.
And it's going to just be a survival horror kind of thing. And I like the fact, though, that it comes across, at least in the trailer, like some of the things that they did with it. That's why at the beginning I did the whole thing about the Jaws for a new generation, because you don't see the gators a whole lot. I mean, there's a couple shots you do, and I'm sure by the end it'll be like every kind of ghost movie or whatever where you don't see the ghost at that much in the
And
beginning.
it's just gonna hop out at you.
But by the end, it's like full-on CG weird shit. Do you remember the movie, and I'm pretty sure Sam Raimi produced this too, The Boogeyman?
Yes!
Do you remember that?
Yes, with Barry Watson.
Yeah, that movie,
I liked that
it
movie.
barely showed the Boogeyman all the way to the end, and when you finally saw it, you were
Yep.
like, ooh, that looks really bad.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
So,
Another one was The Fog.
yeah.
The Fog and The Boogeyman. Both of them, I really liked both of those movies. They were really good.
Yeah.
Until like the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, once they start showing all the creatures,
And
then
I'm
you're like, it's not as good
I'll
anymore.
pass.
So if they go the Jaws route and keep the creature hidden, now Jaws is good, is as good as it is because of practical reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to show the shark more in that movie, but they made an actual mechanical shark, and the saltwater was fucking with it, so it didn't work right.
Right.
So they had to keep filming it without showing it. So all the tension and suspense in that movie from not really seeing the shark, is a happy accident, because they were gonna full on just have the shark be like there. But
I'm kind of glad they didn't.
Yeah,
Jaws
but-
is one of the best.
yeah, and that was like, I'm pretty sure, if not Steven Spielberg's first movie, one of his first big movies that got him name recognition. So he is where he is today because of an
Jaws.
accident.
Yeah.
And nothing that he actually planned being that way. So, I mean, if they play their cards right, they can make this a cult classic, I think. I could see people going back years from now and watching it and being a favorite B movie. I mean, is it going to go make $500 million at theaters? No.
Probably not.
Fuck no. But I mean, on a $17 million budget?
$17 million budget, yeah.
If they make 50 or 100, they made all their money back and then some.
Right.
So, I mean, when does this one come out?
Well, actually, that's funny that you mentioned that, because this was slated to come out in August, but it actually got pushed ahead, and now it's going to be coming out in July 12th.
Wow. Okay, so a week after Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. They must got a lot of faith in this shit, or it's some counter programming, because they're like, okay, you know, the people who don't want to see a superhero movie will put this out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess, like, I don't know. I think y'all might be shooting yourself in the foot. Like, y'all be better. Why are these movies not coming out in October? Like, can somebody please explain to me why Child's Play and Crawl and all this other shit is not coming out in October?
What do we have coming out in October? Because so far we have nothing.
It's gonna be another fucking Insidious, fucking Annabelle 3, 5, whatever the fuck. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring back fucking Paranormal Activity or some horse shit.
Oh God.
I don't know.
Well, you think because this is going to be promoted as a horror film, it should probably come out around Halloween. In this case, no. This is going to be Florida, natural disaster. Water, there's no need for this to be placed into that time frame. I think this is perfectly okay to come out in the summer. A lot of people are going to be wanting to go to the beach. A lot of people are going to be wanting to be in the water. Why not make a film about aquatic animals in the summer?
That's fair. That's fair. I'm really curious though how people who have been attacked by gators and shit are gonna be like, I don't appreciate y'all making like it don't work like that, motherfucker. My dad was killed by a fucking alligator. I don't know.
Can we get Crocodile Dundee to make a cameo? Paul
thoroughly
Hogan.
expect this to be bad, but unlike Sonic, I think it's going to be bad in an enjoyable way. Like, I won't be angry when I leave the theater.
Sonic, I'm just going to leave the bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I'm just going to be mad the whole time I'm sitting there. My arms crossed, just scowling. Yeah, scowling the whole time. But this looks just dumb fun. And I can go with that.
I'm down for it.
I'm wondering if this is going to be the type of film where it's like, you know what? You did not need the alligators because simply trying to survive, like, flooding would have been good enough, but the alligators didn't hurt.
Right, exactly. Okay, moving on.
I know you like this, in a tongue-in-cheek way, but you have gone too far comparing this to Jaws. You've crossed a line, Master.
Welcome to Benwah's Rabbit Hole. It's where I, Benwah, give you a brief synopsis of random things I found interesting on the internet. Some of these things may be further elaborated on in future podcasts, but I'd recommend you dig deeper for yourself if you're interested.
The views and opinions expressed in the Wabbit Hole are those of Benwah's and Benwah's alone, and do not necessarily reflect the position of any member, affiliate, or future sponsor, despite us not having any, of the One Giant Leap for Geeks podcast.
While Sega is following the lead of Nintendo and Sony by releasing a miniature version of its classic hardware for a modern audience, Mattel is taking a different approach by attempting to re-enter the console market with a new platform dubbed the Amico. Almost 40 years after their debut with the Intellivision, the plan is to create a console that parents, quote, want to buy, end quote. According to CEO Tommy Tallarico, modern games tend to be driven towards a hardcore gamer given their complexity and learning curve, which puts up a barrier for new players. Now, touting multiple perks, including a selling point between $149 to $179, each game for the platform is claimed to be exclusive and cost only $3 to $8. Similar to the Intellivision, the Amico will include controllers with the original omnidirectional disc and full-color touchscreens, which is good because back in the day, if you lost those game cards, you were probably fucked. Mattel intends to launch the console with a number of built-in titles and over 20 games in its online store. The current list of available games includes some reimagined Intellivision and Atari classics, Toe Jam and Earl, and may even launch with a new Earthworm Jim game. There isn't expected to be any DLC or in-game purchases for the Amico. However, its online component will not just be for buying games, but to also support multiplayer and tournament modes as well. Its current launch date is scheduled for October 10th, 2020. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Burger King may have taken an insensitive approach by marketing the line of real meals to sell their Whoppers. If you happen to live in an area where they've pulled this stunt, you may find a meal which resonates with your mood, assuming that mood is pissed, blue, salty, yes, or that you don't give a fuck. Yeah, they are literally packaging a meal in a box that reads DGAF. And this is clearly a stab at McDonald's, as well as a means to manipulate those with real issues into buying a fucking Whopper. Ironically, it's happening as they're partnering with Mental Health America. However you feel about this, I know when I'm in a bad mood, I don't want to eat dry burgers and cold unsalted fries. I don't know if we have any international listeners, but over in the UK, KFC has launched their I Love You Bacon Burger, and damn does it look good. It's not really a burger though. It's a succulent original recipe chicken fillet joined by 2 rations of smoky oven-cooked bacon, topped with creamy baconaise and cushioned on a mouth-watering bed of sweet bacon lover's relish with double cheese between a brochet bun. It's only available for 6 weeks, so make sure to get it while it lasts and feel free to tell me all about it. Now back in America, thanks to Chance the Rapper and over 2 million people and or bots on Twitter, Wendy's will be bringing back their spicy chicken nuggets. They haven't specified when those spicy nuggets of goodness will return, but if Wendy's Twitter taught us anything, it's that Wendy's Twitter don't play.
And now, some random thoughts of Benwah's.
It's possible that an oceanic plate off Portugal's coast is peeling, which may shrink the Atlantic Ocean, bringing Europe closer to Canada. If you think your student loan debt is bad, imagine being one of the over 3 million senior citizens still trying to pay off their debt. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, those over 60 account for more than $86 billion of this country's student loan debt. Now, recent statistics show that student loan debt in this country already exceeds more than $1.5 trillion, making it the second highest debt category next to mortgage debt. Starting in 2021, the state of Maine will ban businesses from using styrofoam containers. California, Hawaii, and New York, as well as a number of cities, have already passed bans on single-use plastic bags as well as an effort to slow down pollution. And unfortunately, another legend of the Star Wars universe has left us. Peter Mayhew, on Tuesday, April 30th, passed away at age 74 in his home in North Texas due to a heart attack. Mayhew, better known as the Wookiee Chewbacca, appeared in the original trilogy as Han Solo's sidekick, as well as Revenge of the Sith and The Force Awakens. Peter is survived by his wife Angie and 3 children. Rest in peace.
And now back to your regularly scheduled podcast. Oh my god, seriously, it's called brioche, not brochet, you uncultured fucker.
It's that time again for America's #1 show, Dumb Shit of the Week. That's right, Dumb Shit of the Week is a show where DJ Melly Mel finds dumb shit and we talk about it. Want your submission on the show? Find us on Twitter at GiantLeap, the #4 Geeks, or you can email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com. Now here's your host, DJ Melly Mel.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to kind of walk you through my process. Typically, I'm scrolling on my Facebook about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I find something that is dumb shit worthy. Mm-hmm. And it goes into my dumb shit folder on Facebook. And I just save it away.
Yeah, what's the name of the folder?
It's dumb shit.
Okay, all right.
Yep. It's like when you save something on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
you can create folders now. And
yeah.
I have one.
I know how to Facebook.
I have one that is dumb shit.
Okay.
So, this comes from Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
A gynecologist has taken to Twitter to advise women against... No, you heard me correctly. A gynecologist has advised women against putting garlic in their vaginas.
Is this from, like, did Gwyneth Paltrow start doing this shit? Are they getting this from some celebrity shit?
I don't know if we had a trend on dumb shit
mm-hmm.
where they were putting beeswax or
beeswax or
the
Bird's bees.
You're right, Bird's bees. Yeah, no, the honeycomb.
Yeah, the honeycombs.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
They were putting the honeycombs.
Right? Cereal? Yeah, no, like actual
beehive.
Yeah,
beehives in their vagina.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to.
Man,
well, I know
to rejuvenate them, and that was started by a celebrity.
I know that Gwyneth Paltrow, I guess she was putting eggs in her vagina or some shit.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm like, so is that like a new form
vibrating? Then I really would rather it not.
Fair.
But okay.
I was like, is that like a new form of Kegels? Is that what that is? Like, if you can hold this egg without cracking it, then you are going to be like a 10 in the sack.
I mean,
man, eggs in your vagina is a slippery slope to watermelon. Don't do it.
Watermelon might be fun, but not in whole.
Well, you upgrade to like a grapefruit, then you work your way
not
to
whole. No.
No.
Yeah.
But now, just for anyone who missed last week's Dumb Shit of the Week, we kind of sort of touched on this, but we didn't go like super into it. So if this sounds a little bit familiar, it's because we were gonna talk about it, but then we didn't. But
yeah, I ran out of time last week.
Yeah, but go ahead, continue.
Now, before we go on, in case you're wondering why such a thing would ever be necessary, basically there's a bit of an old wives' tale that suggests that the popular cooking ingredient can be used to treat vaginal yeast infections.
I feel like that would give you a yeast infection.
If you have a yeast infection, for the love of God, go to Walmart or the drugstore and buy you some Monistat. Don't be sticking garlic in your vagina. Now that has been said, I will continue.
Is there garlic in that shit, in like douches and shit?
No.
No? Okay.
Dr. Gunther says that you should not be putting garlic in your vagina.
That sounds like something Gunther would say.
Not
Right.
Gunther, Gunter.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry,
Oh
Gunther.
my god.
Guten Tag.
Gunther.
There have been no studies.
Don't put no garlic in your
Oh,
Gunther.
God.
There have been no studies to suggest that garlic has any kind of antifungal properties beyond the confines of a petri dish. Your vagina is not a petri dish. I promise you that. In fact, she warns that the vagina could serve as the ideal environment for the growth of dangerous botulism.
Oh, my God. You know what I just thought of?
What?
If you have a yeast infection
Uh-huh.
and you put garlic in it, if you let it stay for like a week, you'll make garlic bread.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Thank you. I'm here all night. Thank
If
you.
I
Thank
were
you.
a man, I would not be going anywhere near anybody who smells like garlic down there.
It's like every time I go to fuck this bitch, she smell like Olive Garden.
The breadsticks. It's the
Oh,
breadsticks.
shit. Bottomless breadsticks.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, so you stick garlic in your vagina and you're gonna get botulism.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds great.
Throw some flour in there. Oven.
Yeah.
Mm.
There was an 8-part thread on Twitter using the hashtag vaginas no garlic zone.
I honestly.
Is that like, is that not going to be in the
Right.
new Sonic?
No.
right.
no.
The no garlic
This
vagina.
gynecologist, Dr. Gunther, she put out, her Twitter starts off, why you should not put garlic in your vagina. And then it goes on for 8 posts.
You know.
Does she only take patients
You know,
at night?
Right, I know, right? You know what's funny though is I feel like all this shit is like Darwinism at its finest. I'm like, just like, what's the word I want to use? I guess weed out.
I was going to say the dumb ones are weeding themselves out.
Yeah,
yeah, they are. The survival of the fittest.
Thin the herd. That's
the
what I want to
herd.
say. 'Cause-
She continues to say that garlic could worsen an inflamed, yeasty vagina.
That's fine. Just throw some hops in there. And some piss in there.
Yeah, well, no.
Make some garlic bread, some beer. You know what? This could be a new trend. Okay,
Oktoberfest will never be the same.
just put a spout on it.
Like, this is horrible. First of all, as somebody who has a vagina, not once in my entire life have I ever looked at a cooking ingredient and said, God, I really want to put this in my vagina. Now, that goes for fruits and vegetables as well.
Yeah.
The women that masturbate with fruits and vegetables, that freaks me out.
Wait, fruit? A vegetable? I know the cucumber thing, but
Cucumbers, bananas, eggplant,
squash?
zucchini,
Oh, God.
squash. Oh, yeah.
I feel like a banana is not firm enough.
No.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be.
But it still is a phallic
guess.
object.
Go get a boyfriend. What the fuck?
Cherries. I've seen cherries.
Hump a pillow. Do what normal people do.
Yeah. Don't insert things into your vagina.
Well, don't insert foods into your
Okay,
vagina.
yeah. Don't insert foods into your vagina. That's not a good thing.
Is that garlic though?
Yeah. Like, they're taking cloves of garlic and just
That's the.
voila.
I guess it's better than like garlic powder. I guess. Just like put some in the bottom of your panties and just like, oh, just put this on. Just wear this for the day. Again, I feel like.
Colorblind
that
women
would burn.
mistakes it for chili powder, and that's a mess.
Yeah, I feel like this whole thing is gonna give you a yeast infection
Yes.
or make it like way worse.
Not to mention, garlic comes out of the ground. It's dirty. It has dirt on it.
I mean, rinse it off. It's fine. You eat it, so I mean.
You don't eat the outside part.
Hey, you eat pussy. You eat garlic. It all works. Okay.
Those two things are two.
Did Adam and Eve clean the
totally different
leaves?
things.
Did they clean the leaves?
Yeah.
Oh.
They covered up their giblets with dirty leaves, probably.
You know, it's kind of funny that we mentioned the fruits and vegetables because she goes on at the end of her tweet to be like, also don't put cucumbers in your vaginas. We all know you were thinking about it.
So, but I mean, at least that won't give you like botulism.
Well, I mean, if they're dirty.
Again, hopefully you're cleaning all these things before you're putting it in your pussy. I hope.
People are not that smart.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Who is patient
I know,
zero?
right?
People don't even wash their sex toys.
Yeah, that's true.
Or they swap
That's
sex
true.
toys with people.
Ugh.
People are gross.
That's a woman thing.
I had a friend.
Because I would never, if I had a guy, me and Ben would never like swap fleshlights with each other. That's fucking weird.
I had a friend in college, and I swear to God, her and her boyfriend used to swap toys.
Why?
I have never
She
heard
had some, and he had some, and they would swap them and use them on each other, and then use them on themselves. And,
No, I'm totally fine with that. I support that message.
and
Like,
then
if y'all want to
they were
do
sharing
it together,
with other people. And
that's cool, but
No, you don't use your toys on somebody else. That's not
well,
not
wait a minute, because then
not
that
your
would say-
partner, like outside of your partner. That's not.
I mean, that's like saying you shouldn't date around, though, too. Like, you shouldn't, like, if you're a lesbian woman, you shouldn't go
Unprotectedly. Let's put it this way.
Oh, okay.
It's
Put a
okay.
condom on it?
Yeah,
so
it's
put a
okay
condom
if
on
you're
your
going to put a
dildos,
condom on your
ladies.
dildos. Sure, I'm all for
Yeah,
that.
but wait. Now, I gotta address the elephant in the room.
Oh, God.
Okay. We've all seen porn.
Yes.
Okay, we're all adults here.
Unfortunately, I've had to for
Right.
this podcast.
Don't play.
So when the guy is having a threesome with two girls and he bangs the one chick and pulls his dick out of her and then puts it in some other chick's mouth, or goes from fucking one girl to fucking the other girl, that's
Ass to
all the
mouth.
same. This is all in the same thing, so that's okay. They seem fine mostly.
Nah.
Well, porn is
Yeah,
generally clean.
You know how many
Like,
times
they're
they have to
really
go
stringent
they have to
about
get
that.
tested, and they have
shit
to
like that, yeah.
like, just because it looks like one scene does not mean that it was all one scene.
Okay, that's fair.
And they make them go wash in between
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
You get them low budget porn people, and you're like,
What, like when
yeah.
some girl's eating Fruit Loops out of another girl's
I
asshole, like
didn't
that?
say
Is that what you mean?
That was. I didn't say that was any cleaner. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you get your crawl of the porn. and
Right.
Low budget.
Yeah.
Or your bro
produced by
shave
Sam
arms.
Raimi.
But Sam
Raimi.
Good.
The public service announcement for this week.
Sam
is...
rammed me.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
See, I thought I was the bad one. Jesus. But then
Crawl
you
into
two.
your vagina. No. Okay.
Crawling in
my
your
God.
vagina. This garlic will not heal.
Oh, that was good.
Okay, kids.
Botulism's how I
While
fall.
Ben's over there being
Just trying to make a
calm
meal.
down.
Chest her. Get it? Okay.
Chester.
betting him.
Oh, God.
Y'all
All right.
are horrible. Y'all are horrible, and you bitch at me about the
Right.
puns.
Sausage link in park. Okay, never mind. I'm done.
How did we get talking about?
I don't know.
Lincoln
Right.
Park. No, it's
Right.
not. We're
Lincoln Park garlic in your vagina.
No.
But don't.
We're just gonna put this as a PSA out there. Garlic does not help yeast infections. Again, take your ass to Walmart, spend
Yes.
the $13,
Please.
get the monostat, or any pharmacy. They all have it. And don't put garlic in your vagina, please. I don't want to. I'm not gonna be able to eat garlic bread, y'all. This has ruined me. Not the story per se, but you two
Yeah.
have ruined me. I'm done.
I can still eat.
I can't eat Fruit Loops either, but I never liked Fruit Loops to begin
I can
with.
do that. I got Fruity Pebbles.
You know, it's
Oh.
funny. It's funny because I don't know if this is a direct correlation between the two, but I'm almost certain since I saw that Fruit Loops video, I have not eaten cereal since. I don't know if that's why, but I think I stopped eating cereal right around that time, so I haven't had a bowl of cereal in a long time,
Yep.
and I blame you.
I'm sorry.
So you did this to
You
me.
can blame my friend in Australia. It's his fault.
No, I blame you because he didn't show it to me. You did.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, no garlic in the poo poo. No, that's in the butt. The hoo-hoo? There you go.
The hoo-ha.
Yeah, the hoo-ha. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Not the hoo-hoo, the hoo-ha. I'm sorry.
The
Thank you.
hoo-hoo are on your chest.
Is that? Okay. Ooh,
These
okay.
are your hoo-hoos.
So, not the poo-poo, not the hoo-hoo, but the hoo-ha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Hoo-ha!
Right, I know. I was like, what, is this like an Al Pacino movie? Hoo-ha!
I was thinking like
my
Busta
God.
Rhymes. Hoo-ha.
Y'all need to brush up on your little kid euphemisms for...
I guess so, for private parts,
Yeah. So...
I'm a grown-ass man. I say vagina.
Oh, you did not. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I did. Just for shits. Man, women fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Bitches be crazy.
You know...
I think we broke Mel. She's just like, I don't even know what to say.
I think we broke this goddamn
yeah,
podcast.
You know what's
this
funny
week.
is
That's
I'm
what
going to
we
be
did.
listening to this next week as we're driving with my niece.
Ooh,
She just turned 18. She'll be all right.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
she's
What's her name again?
Lexi.
Oh, okay.
Lexi.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
She's going to get a kick out of the part where we're talking about the hoo-ha. Because she loves that word.
Right.
Got you.
Hoo-ha! Yeah. See, for all these years, we never knew that Busta Rhymes was rapping about pussy.
And when I step up in the pussy, and I step
Man,
correct.
see, it
Hoo-ha!
don't make so much sense now.
Got you.
Oh my God.
No.
Anyway, I'm going to play this part for her. And
Busta
she gonna-
Nut Rhymes. No, okay.
she don't think it's hilarious because she loves the word hoo-ha.
Busta Nut rides. Hoo-ha.
Okay.
Can we move on?
Yes, please.
I can't even do my exit. We just public service announcement. Don't put garlic in your vagina.
She's
Move
so
it
fucking
on.
done.
Well, neither can the other ladies because of that.
No,
Yeah,
just go. Just go.
Ooh.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm
That's
done.
Fair enough. Moving on.
Yeah.
My mother always said a clove of garlic in the vagina a day keeps the doctor away. My mother also died from vaginitis.
On a more somber note, we have a epidemic, you could almost say, in the video game industry right now. So I'm going to give you the info dump, and it's a little lengthy, so just bear with me while I get through this, and then we will discuss. So I'm getting this from Kotaku.
Tacos?
Yeah, I know you already made that joke.
It was funny. I'm sorry. Kotaku.
All right. Katak vagina O's? No. Over 150 discontented Riot Games employees walked out of the League of Legends publishers' offices in Los Angeles today to protest the company's stance on forced arbitration. Standing in a parking lot on Riot's campus, employees held picket signs and gave impassioned speeches. We are asking that forced arbitration be ended for all past, current, and future Riot employees, including contractors and in current litigation, said Jocelyn Monahan, a social listening strategist at Riot. In an interview with Kotaku, standing in front of a sign reading Rioters Unplugged, a play on Riot's internal Riot Unplugged meetings, Monahan would later tell her assembled colleagues through a megaphone, asking to feel safe does not make you entitled. In the months since Kotaku's investigation, uncovering endemic sexism at Riot Games, 5 current or former employees sued the company. In part for violating California's Equal Pay Act, last week Riot filed a motion to force 2 of those current employees into arbitration, an extra-legal forum where a suit does not go in front of a jury. Recently, 20,000 Google employees walked out to end forced arbitration. Months later, Google announced it would comply, but only for harassment cases. Last week, Riot announced it would now allow incoming employees to opt out of forced arbitration for harassment suits and would consider extending that to current employees as soon as current litigation is resolved. Giving a speech, one current Riot employee announced she was quitting in 2 weeks. I'm quitting because I don't want to see people who were protected by people in high places in Riot, the employee said. 2 higher-up employees at Riot Games, including the COO, have been retained at the company in the COO's case after a 2-month unpaid leave, despite several complaints against him to HR and otherwise being accused of everything from gendered promotion strategies to ball grabbing in Kotaku reports, adding that she's worried that she'll be labeled a red flag. She continued, I don't even spend time with my husband who works here because I worry that he'll also be labeled. Toward the end of the walkout, Monahan made an announcement saying that if Riot management doesn't make any sort of commitment on forced arbitration by May 16th, the date of the next Riot Unplugged meeting, she and others involved with the walkout will take further action. Another walkout organizer, Riot writer Indu Reddy, was not able to delve into specifics of what that will mean, but she told Kotaku that we do have plans and we do have days that we're planning, and we do have commitments that we have responses for. Reddy also said that despite Riot's statement, retaliation is an ongoing concern. We might face unforeseen consequences despite leadership's own commitments, because leadership is one entity and there are a lot of rioters throughout the organization, she said. We will prepare for retaliation. I think it wouldn't be smart not to plan for it, but we're not assuming it either because leadership said they wouldn't retaliate for this one anyway. We will continue to ask for confirmation for future demonstrations. So to try and kind of make a TLDR out of this, basically they are protesting because Kotaku did a expose investigation thing about a year ago, talking about sexism at Riot Games and some harassment suits and different things like that were going on, and how they were pretty much brushing it under the rug and trying to keep it out of the public by having people go through arbitration. Now, arbitration is not a new thing. Most companies, I'm pretty sure even a company that I work for, do forced arbitration, where basically they make you sign a legal document saying, hey, if you have any issues, you can't go sue us, that you have to deal with our lawyers,
Right.
and try and come to a settlement that way and not take it to open court. And the employees are upset because they feel that their grievances won't be either heard or taken care of in a manner that is beneficial to them because the company has all the control.
Right.
You can't go public. There's like gag orders put in place, and basically you have to deal with their lawyers and you're on their terms. And
sounds like every episode of Law and Order.
Pretty much. And basically the strike or the walkout, whatever you want to call it, is for a multitude of reasons kind of compounded on top of each other, but their main focus is to try and end forced arbitration within the company. I don't know how I feel about it. Now, I'm of two minds about it, because on one hand, as far as like harassment and sexism in the workplace and stuff like that, totally get it. I understand. I get it. Now, crunch and different things like that, I'm not for it, but I kind of understand it at the same time too, because it's kind of a symptom of the market.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's be honest, gamers are a fickle bunch. Okay.
Yes.
People don't want to pay more than $60 for a game.
Even that's too much.
They don't want to have to deal with microtransactions. They don't want to have to deal with day one patches. They don't want to have a game pushed back that they're looking forward to. They don't want to have to wait multiple years for a game to come out. And honestly, the video game industry is not magic. These things don't happen in a vacuum. Like, there are people behind the scenes that are working 60, 70, 80-hour weeks to make these things happen for months on end at a time, 6-7 days a week, no breaks, no vacation time. And some people are working close to minimum wage, like contractors work for shit pay and work these crazy long hours. And that's kind of how you get the games that you want in the condition that you want, when you want, and at the price you want to pay.
Right.
So
basically slave labors.
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of the curse of capitalism, is we want stuff quick and cheap, but there is a downside to that for the workers. Now, that being said, I don't want to sound like I am jumping to the defense of the corporation, because they don't intrinsically come out and say, you have to do this. But it is kind of implied, and with the workload that they put on them, there's no way you could get it done without doing it this way. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of just part of the culture as opposed to a mandate to staff. I don't know if I agree completely with not wanting forced arbitration, though. because, to be fair, companies are in the business of making money.
Right.
And if anybody can sue them for any kind of even thought of infringement in some kind of way, shape, or form, you can't run a business like that. We're constantly being in fear that you're going to get sued into oblivion. Even if you win, all the lawyer costs, the court costs, everything else, that's just like money you're pouring out to fight off lawsuits constantly. I'm just kind of trying to play devil's advocate, I guess, because I feel like I maybe sound like I'm being too corporate. I mean, maybe because of what I do, I can see the other side of it to a degree.
Could be.
But at the same time, I definitely understand where the workers are coming from. Like, I don't think that in any industry, no matter what you're doing, I mean, unless you're, like, saving fucking lives, I don't think that there should ever be a time where somebody should ask you to work more than a 40-hour work week, to be totally honest. But definitely not more than 5 days a week. But again, if they're not making them do it, it's kind of the thing of, well, I guess they're living in fear of, if I don't do this, then somebody else will come do it and I won't have a job.
Right.
Some kid coming straight out of college, that's a contractor, internship, whatever, they dangle the possibility of giving them a full-time job. If they do good, they'll do whatever the fuck they gotta do. Look at wash these motherfuckers' clothes, get them coffee and all this shit, suck their damn toes, whatever they need, come do your job right now, and we'll do it happily.
Yeah. The idea of being easily replaced.
Yeah, we'll make you do a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Now,
well,
I know...
You and I both know this.
Yes. Now I know...
I ain't never sucked anybody's toes.
No,
but...
right. Not lately, at least.
What's the point of having worker rights if corporations and businesses are going to have the right to prevent you from suing them if they fuck around with you? What's the point? And the whole idea that, they do this to help minimize frivolous lawsuits against them because, I'm scared you're going to sue me, so I'm going to make it so you can't sue me. Okay, I'm afraid you're going to kill me, so I'm going to kill you first. That's horse shit. And the fact that about half, if not more, of people in the private sector, non-unionized workers, have to agree to these goddamn forced arbitration clauses just to get a fucking job is horse shit. Okay?
Okay.
Because all this does, literally, you kind of explained it, but literally what it does, forced arbitration, means that you cannot take them to court via the legal system. You cannot have an actual hypothetical objective judge or jury rule and judge on a case.
Right.
You have to deal with their own, the company you work for, you have to deal with the company's own arbitrator at a time and location of their choosing. So basically, you're going to argue the company's standpoint to the company.
Right.
And these arbitrators are usually on retainers if they don't directly work for the company. So they have no incentive whatsoever to rule in favor of the employee who's bringing up their complaint. So you're already fighting a losing battle right there. And the idea is that, one, this is going to prevent frivolous lawsuits, which is horseshit. If you don't do anything wrong, then the courts will eventually rule for you. And sure, it might waste some time and resources, but you should be able to recoup that back. Two, it helps bring cases out of the courts because, our judicial system is already pretty clogged up. So it actually helps the courts in the long run, so it's good for them. Bullshit. Three, it's cheaper in the long run for both the company and for the person who has a problem with us, so it's better for them. No, it's not. It's basically a way to hush people up and fuck with them without giving them any legal recourse.
To continue to play devil's advocate, my question would be,
okay,
what would be an acceptable middle ground?
Well, like Riot Games is supposedly stating that they might allow the person who files a complaint to bring up their own lawyer and have a choice in who will be the arbitrator for them in the company. I don't know if I necessarily believe that is a middle road, because I don't see that being put into effect practically. I don't really see that playing out. What would be a middle ground is to get rid of these bullshit anti-worker clauses in contracts to begin with. Because there's so many of them out there with so many companies that it's put in is putting the workers at a major imposition.
Mm-hmm.
The job market, if you're in the job market, you shouldn't have to give up your rights to our laws and protection from our laws just to get a fucking job. What makes a company or corporation above the law?
No, I agree. And I don't necessarily think that it's them being above the law. I just think that they have made it to where the law has benefited them more so than the worker. But I mean, that's almost always been the case. My thing is, because if, let's say, for example, if there are no arbitration agreements, we nix those altogether. Even if you do take a company, especially if it's a, major company, like a Google tech company, video game company, EA, something like that, even if you do take them to court, you still have the deck stacked against you because you, as an individual, you have a finite amount of resources and, people who would even be willing to take up your case and represent you, whereas the company has a whole team of lawyers and people working night and day.
Right. They could bury you in court just for...
Right. Even if you have a case to win, they could still
But there's a
drag
difference.
it out.
There's a difference between a company intimidating you, forcing you to be, or rather, let me rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between a company intimidating you to be quiet and then forcing you to be quiet to comply with them.
That's fair.
And these contracts force you to deal directly with them. This is why a lot of shit isn't able to go public.
That's fair.
And things won't change if people aren't aware of what's going on in these companies. And this is designed to let the boys be boys in this specific case.
Yeah, because they when Kotaku did the first whole expose that kind of kicked this whole thing off, there was a lot of fucked up shit that was going on there where it was just how has this been a thing in this company for this long and nobody has come out and said anything? But it's because of arbitration agreements. Even if somebody come forward, once it goes into arbitration, they're like, hey, look, you can't talk about this. You'll forfeit whatever kind of settlement we make with you if you go public. They put gag orders on you. You'll
be blacklisted and never be able to work in that industry again.
Exactly. I was going to say, not only losing your job there, exactly, you become blacklisted everywhere, and then it's you become labeled as a problem.
And this is not, granted, this whole the whole main part about this is just harassment and discrimination against women primarily, but it's not just that. It's about unfair labor practices.
Yep.
It's about not paying people what they're owed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's about a lot of things that these companies are being allowed to get away with because they are shutting up their employees. Some of them don't even know they have no recourse in this.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's why I like labor laws. That's why I like when people go on strikes, because it gets the word out about the practices that goes on in these businesses.
No, you're right.
And we need more transparency.
I'm curious, too. Do you agree with my thoughts about how this is kind of our fault? Not necessarily you and me per se, but just gamers in general. That some of the, especially with crunch, obviously not with sexism and sexual harassment and that kind of stuff, but crunch.
I'm not going to say this is gamers' fault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this is consumers' fault.
Okay.
Generally speaking.
Okay.
Not just about games. Consumers' fault.
Okay.
We want products. We want services. We demand way too much.
Mm-hmm.
And these companies squeeze the life out of their employees to service us and then hoard all the rewards for that.
Oh, yeah.
And then when somebody who works for them, who works for us, ever has the balls to complain about it or whistleblow, we give them shit.
Yeah.
It's the whole idea of we want somebody to do something for us, all right? And these companies have all the initiative to make as most profit out of that as they can, which we applaud that. That's good business. But you hire illegal immigrants so you can pay them under the table crap wages, and instead of us getting upset at the people who are exploiting workers, we get upset at the workers.
Right. The people for taking the job.
This is shooting the messenger. This is not tipping your waitress, waiter, bartender because the cook's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
This is us shitting on people who are really the ones at the ground level doing all the hard work and labor. And not the people who are controlling them, not the people who are shutting them up, not the people who are exploiting them.
Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right.
This is exploitation. and it's bullshit.
Yes, no, that is the perfect word to describe it, is exploitation.
And the fact that people say, oh, there can't really be a free market if you tell these businesses what they can and cannot do. That's horseshit.
Yeah, no,
then they got the other people that say, well, you shouldn't have signed the contract if you don't want to deal with this. I'm sorry, when probably half the positions out there or more have these clauses, you don't have a fucking choice. Oh, well, yeah, you have a choice. I'm sorry, no, you don't.
Yeah, no.
You're being put at an imposition. You're not on equal playing field as everybody. You're not.
No. My biggest problem with the whole idea of the free market is that it should just be completely unregulated and just unfettered, just capitalism. And I'm like, any unregulated anything is bad for everything. And the idea that you can't have a free market if you have, certain regulations against what companies can and cannot do, hiring practices, labor practices, that kind of stuff. I'm like, that is very naive because that is assuming it is a perfect system run by perfect beings in a perfect, atmosphere, and we are all imperfect things. You can't expect human beings to run something and not have any kind of oversight and say, I'm sure everything will be fine. Nobody will ever abuse this system. Nobody will ever do anything shady that would ever make us, need to come in and say, hey, you can't do this.
Right.
That's why there's such thing as monopoly laws and labor laws. And, that's why HR is a thing in the first place. Like, you don't...
Actually, no. HR is a thing to protect the companies from getting sued by employees. HR is horseshit, too.
True. But, I mean, in theory, in practice, yes, that is true. But in theory, that's what they're supposed to be for, is for the actual employees. In practice, maybe not so much. But in theory, the idea of HR is supposed to be to protect the employees. But...
You can't have a free market when businesses and corporations have the right to impose what they feel on that free job market.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because if anything, yeah, it's regulation in a different way. It's just that the market is trying to set its own regulations, and that's not really a free market either. Because it's kind of like, when like you said, when you have the power to silence, detractors within the organization, then that's not a free market. That's controlling bad press. That's controlling leaks and anything getting out negative about you. Because yeah, you could settle, you could give them a bunch of money and shit, but not only that, but you're like, but you can't talk about this. So it's like,
the market cannot fix itself.
No.
When consumers don't have the capital to take their money anywhere else.
Exactly.
The market cannot regulate itself.
And the lack of options.
When corporations are limited in the amount of options that we as people looking for jobs can have. The free market's not going to, well, I'm not going to say free market, it's a misnomer. The market's not going to regulate itself when you have corporations and businesses that are literally telling their employees, you can't do anything if we fuck with you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up having a corporate oligarchy, not a free market. You can't do that. That's why I have a hard time dealing with a lot of conservatives and a lot of libertarians.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where it's just like, just deregulate everything and then the market would just work itself out.
The people cannot control and fix anything when you literally take away their spending power in their voice.
Yep.
They can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And when you completely unregulate the market, everybody who already has the power, the wealth, and the influence are going to control the minimum. You're going to end up with communism that way.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question is...
Well, communism is when the government has all the money, but it's similar.
Right.
Someone's going to probably knock me on that.
Yeah.
You're going to have an oligarchy.
Right.
That's the word I should just say.
So my question is, from all of this happening, do you think that there is a chance that we will, in our lifetime, see the gaming industry become unionized?
No.
I'm inclined to agree with that, to be honest. I would like it. I think, honestly, almost every industry should be unionized to some degree or another, but I don't see it happening.
Hey, a lot of them were until fucking Reagan in the 80s.
Yeah, that's true.
Greatest president of our life. Now, fuck you.
I don't What do you think would need to happen to get us to that point? Like, do you think that it would have to be a groundswell in politics to get us to that point, or do you think that there could be a lobbying way to get to them?
I think men need to have some fucking empathy.
Yeah.
White men in particular, in this country at least.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, and I know this is a thought I have no problem sharing, and it's had people call me fucking like cuck, SJW, but it's the fucking truth. Look at who has all the money, the control, the power. Look who has the majority of that in this country.
Right.
Fucking old white guys. And these younger white guys like Mark Zuckerberg or... I guess you can say Bezos, because he's like not... Is he like 50 at this point? He's still relatively young compared to like, Buffett and them, but still. The people with the wealth, the youth has to gain some wealth and have some goddamn empathy for their fellow man and woman. That's the only way this shit's gonna change. Because we still live in a country that's full of individualism. I want it all. I take care of my own. If you have something that I don't have, suddenly it devalues what I do have, and I gotta have what you have. That mindset has to fucking change. I'm not saying we gotta go full left and socialism and all that shit, but we need to start actually giving a shit about our fellow person and empathizing with the people that don't have it as good as we do. But we're too caught up in our own shit to give a fuck. Individualism, nationalism, that shit has to end.
I agree. I think though, on like a practical level, that maybe what will happen is at some point it will be a thing of kind of what like Google did and what Riot Games said that they would do after all this shit is over. That they might make it to where certain things you have to go through forced arbitration, but then other things you won't. Like if it's a harassment suit or it's, sexism suit or something like that, then you can go to open court and go in front of a jury and shit like that and be able to publicly talk about it. Whereas opposed to more internal things, they could say, well, we're going to keep this in-house. I don't even know if that's going to happen, but I think that's probably the most practical next step forward. I mean, like I said, ideally, yes. I agree. I don't like the arbitration agreement in principle. I still stand by what I said. I understand why they do it, but I think that there is a better solution. I just don't know what it would be. But, I mean, because of all the countries in the world, like America is probably the highest in as far as, frivolous lawsuits. I mean, people will, in a heartbeat, somebody, if it's mad at you, and like, I'll fucking sue you. And it's like, okay, like, calm the fuck down. Like, you don't have a grounds to sue, just everybody who pisses you off about something. But at the same time, I agree with your point that having a system set up to where all the deck is stacked against you in every conceivable way it could be is not a fair compromise either. I just don't know what that is. Because...
Get rid of forced litigation.
Yeah.
Or forced arbitration.
Yeah, no, I agree, that has to go,
but
there has to be some kind of system in place. Because if there is no safety net for companies to feel like they can be protected to some degree, then that is going to hurt us economically in the long run too. So it's like we have to find a balance. I just don't know what it is.
That's what lawyers, insurance, and the law is for. So if somebody brings upon a frivolous lawsuit, they face a large penalty. True,
I guess. But then you go into the thing of, okay, if me as a private citizen, I bring up a frivolous lawsuit, it goes through court, I lose, I'm made to pay back damages and court costs to the company. I don't have that money. They never get that money back anyway. So it was still a loss to them even if they didn't lose the lawsuit.
They can claim it as a loss on their taxes.
Yeah, I guess, maybe. Can you do that?
You can claim losses on your taxes. I don't necessarily know if it would work in that case because generally companies have the money.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, and to a degree, because I'm more, to anybody listening, I'm probably 90% more on Benwah's side than I probably sound. But I wanted to play both sides of the fence here because I wanted it to be, try to make it a more even-handed conversation and not just immediately go, companies are evil and fuck them. Because, I mean, to a degree, they are. That is true. I mean, I've worked for some shitty fucking places, and I know, like, I felt so uncomfortable the first time I had to sign an arbitration agreement, and I really felt like I was signing my death, certificate. But at the same time, I do understand that there has to be some kind of checks and balances to make people who are, I guess, I'm really stretching by saying this, but entrepreneurs to some degree, because I mean, every industry had to start with the entrepreneur of some kind. But, people who are in the business of running a business have to feel like, hey, I can be profitable without having to worry about constantly being attacked and having to just hope I can write this stuff off and hope this stuff goes in my favor because, the whole system would collapse. So there's got to be some kind of even-handed solution. I just don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, I feel the worst for the workers. Because, I mean, these people, they say that they're not going to retaliate against them, but I promise you, man, like, they are going to get blacklisted in the video games industry. I mean, they won't, nobody will probably come out and openly say it, but if they quit, or once they get fired, or for whatever happens down the road, they're going to have a hard time finding another job in this industry because of what
Look at the backlash whenever anybody goes on strike.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are going to call them entitled. People are going to say, oh, they're just, causing trouble and yada, yada. And then at the same time, people who maybe not even have malicious intent on a subconscious level, they're going to be worried like, oh, well, if I hire them here, if something does happen, then they're going to, go on strike or try to sue us here, and I just don't want to have to deal with that drama. So there's going to be retaliation, maybe not overtly, but there's going to be retaliation to some degree or another, for sure.
If you're so worried that your employees are going to turn on you, just treat them better.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I know, well, some people are going to say they always want more and more. Yeah, at some point you can let them go. But at least then you can be transparent about it. And you can say, yeah, I did this, and then they left anyway. Because that's all anybody ever wants. Everybody wants to know what's really going on. We want the information. Enforced arbitration is a pure conflict of interest. I don't know how, just by looking at that contract, or people knowing that companies do this, they don't see, oh, well, that's obviously them wanting to hide shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if we fuck up, we want to be able to control the circumstances around you getting some kind of reward if we did something wrong.
So many people are fine with that. I don't get it.
I don't even think it's being fine. It's just it's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of this. It's because of a lack of options. It's like, okay, yeah, I might say I don't want to do this, and then they can point to the lobby.
No. But
oh, okay, yeah.
What I mean is that so many people think it's fine that companies do this because at the end of the day, it's in our power as possible employees to sign or not sign it.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah, it is and it's not. I mean, yes, as an individual, yes, but at the same time,
there are finite options, and if you need money, well, you have to work.
Yeah, especially in
that's what
in that industry, it's like it ain't that many, AAA game developers and shit that you can just go to, and like I said, if they find out, oh, he won't sign an arbitration agreement, the next place is probably not going to hire you because they're going to be like, well, you're just going to be trouble,
right?
Quote unquote. It's interesting.
And that's what I mean by you can't have a free market when you have corporations imposing this kind of bullshit on everybody looking for work.
Yeah. No, you're right. But it's interesting. We're gonna keep an eye on this. Like I am specifically because I'm really curious to see what happens down the road with these people. I mean, hopefully Kotaku and Variety and all these other people who did these exposés about this kind of shit follow up and keep up with this story because I'm really fascinated to know what is going to be the fallout from all this. And the workers at Riot Games have said that they plan to do more walkouts in the future. So I'm really curious to see how long this is going to go until something comes to a head and what the solution will be from all this. Like the whole thing is really fascinating to me.
And for all the people that think, oh, I think I know it all, I have the right answers, I'm gonna put it like this: you don't need to know what's right to know what's wrong, and this is wrong.
That was good. I like that. That was actually really good. That was good. Well, any other final thoughts on this before we go?
I think you and Ben kind of took the show on this one.
No, it's just this.
No,
shit,
no,
this shit, I've seen too much shit.
It's cool.
This.
I chalk it up to both y'all, being in professional jobs, and I haven't had a professional job quite like that. So yeah, I was kind of glad that y'all took reign on this because I didn't really have much to contribute.
She was like, "And now I depart." No. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this one, but I'm really curious to see what's going to happen and what's going to be the fallout from this, because I got a feeling that there's going to be more waves to come and there's going to be more fallout, not necessarily in a good way for the workers, but we'll see. But anyway, that is it for the show. Remember, you can find us at our home, onegiantleapforgeeks.libsyn.com. We are also on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to show us some love, so go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, rate, follow, review, and all that shit.
And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, or you just want to say hi, you can always email us at officialogolfd@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter as a show at GiantLeap4Geeks. You can find me personally on Twitter at Froggy Beaver, and Benwah is on Twitter at Benwah Gaming, BENWAH Gaming. That is all on Twitter. The show is also on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram. All you have to do is search for One Giant Leap for Geeks. All right, you guys have a good night. Bye.